get on your bits and pieces about, and if you do, fine. It's got very hot in here all of a sudden. Why is that?
It's lovely, because he turned the temperature up because I was cold. And you're nice like that.
Didn't think I turned it up that much.
Oh, maybe I did when you weren't looking.
Must have done. So, yeah, whatever's going off, shout us up, because we are up for it. 08700 40 50 60. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, I'd like to put my view through on the Chechen and Russian war, or is it not the right time?
It's probably not the right time.
When's James Well on next, sir?
Probably Sunday night, I think.
Sunday night?
Yeah.
It's Ian Collins, yeah?
Yeah.
Where's the dominatrix?
She doesn't work here.
She doesn't work here no more?
No, she hasn't worked here for ages.
Is that actually
a year?
I ain't listened to the show for ages.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
No, she left it in the summer.
She left in the summer?
Yeah, but Whaley's back on Sunday.
Who's back on Sunday?
James Well.
James Well's back on Sunday?
Yes.
All right, okay, no problem.
You take it easy.
All right, later, lovely.
Lovely.
Now, peace and harmony under the Islamic State.
Absolutely right.
Of course.
Thank you, sir.
Lovely, sir.
You take care.
Take care of yourself.
08700 40 50 60. That's it. Talk about Islam, right? Do you know what I started to read in Devon?
What?
The Quran.
Really?
I jest you not.
And was it a good read?
It's, well, you know, you can pick at it like like you would with the Bible, I suppose.
Mm.
You can go through it and say that that bit, that bit, that bit, that bit, that bit. Yeah. There's a bit about divorce I was reading. Can't quite remember what it said, but it was all there.
And is it written in a sort of complex? Jungian type way?
Yes, Jungian. No, it's. Obviously it was translated into English,
yes,
which made it a damn sight easier than the original version, I'm guessing.
But was it like, what were those Bibles we had when we were at school, the ones with lots of pictures in? You know what I mean? Those kind of Bibles for kids type,
Yeah.
What were they called? I just wondered if, like, the Quran ever got translated in a way that was like,
Oh, there must be kids' versions of the Quran that have got, like, pictures, so it's easy to explain.
Never seen them. What were they called? Good News Bibles. Did you have a Good News Bible?
Yeah, but they didn't have pictures in them, did they?
Mine did.
They were blue, weren't they?
No, they were yellow. Mine was.
I think they changed them every year.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Good News, but yeah, they did have pictures in them, didn't they?
Mm.
But then, going back younger than that, when you're really little, there's other, there's Bibles with more graphic pictures to show it. But
the Quran was kind of, accessible, was it?
Pardon?
The Quran was kind of accessible as a read.
Oh, it was accessible, yeah. If you're, I guess, theologically challenged in the Islamic department, it's a must, really, isn't it? So, yeah, it was just interesting. I've never even seen a copy of it. So I thought,
nor have I, actually.
And I just thought, there it was. I think it was a penguin, like the Penguin Classics. I think it was a penguin book. So, I started to have a little look at it, and I didn't steal it from where I was staying, by the way. But oddly enough, when I got home, I discovered one in my bag as well, which is interesting. So I might continue reading that. That's weird, isn't it? If you steal a holy book.
Yeah.
Now where does
Bibles
that leave you? Where does that leave you? Because you say, well, it's theft, but I only stole it because I felt compelled to.
Yes. I needed the word of the Lord in my ear.
You see? There you go. There you go. 08700 40 50 60. This will be Christine, I would imagine. Hello, Christine.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Oh, Happy New Millennium, everybody.
And Happy New Millennium to you, too.
Right, you wanted a zoo story.
A zoo story.
Yeah, I don't know if this is written, because it's not an animal story.
That doesn't matter, that's all right.
Yeah, it was about 10 years ago, actually. We went to the zoo with my 10-year-old son.
Oh, yeah.
And he'd just been given a video camera by his grandmother, so he's videoing all the animals, and at some point during the visit to the zoo, he went to the toilet. We didn't think anything of it. So we got home and watched the video of the zoo. And what he'd done, we were watching all the lovely animals and, whatever. And then all of a sudden, he's videoing in the toilet. He must have had the video camera on in the toilet.
Without knowing it?
No, he did know it. Because
he did know it?
Yeah, he must have known it, because what he did was, he was in one toilet and he put the video camera under the toilet, because there was a gap, so he could video the person in the next toilet. But what was so funny was he's pulled his trousers down.
Yeah.
Instead of sitting on the toilet, he's crouched down and he's got hemorrhoids hanging out of his backside, and he was poking them.
What, the guy in the...
Oh, no.
I've never seen anything.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely collapsed. And we've still got the video. We were going to send it to you in frame, but we didn't think they'd show it.
Well, yeah, mind you, I think they've shown worse. It was presented by worse, isn't it? But no, I think the thing is that, I mean, he did it because he's a 10-year-old boy, isn't he?
Absolutely, yeah.
Which, you know, he wouldn't be fulfilling his role in life to be a 10-year-old boy if he didn't do something like that.
Well, he's a 20-year-old boy now.
He's 20 now. Hey, but what a memory, though. Today, I mean, of all the things you could have seen at the zoo, I mean, that tops everything, doesn't it?
I mean, the coincidence that someone would be doing that anyway, I mean, what
Well, yeah, I mean, in a zoo.
What is, well, I don't know about being in a zoo, but I mean, you know, I don't know. You'd expect someone to be going to the toilet, but not actually crouching down and doing
You
things.
wouldn't think so, would you?
No, not at all,
But
no.
caught on camera in the truest fashion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. What a lovely story. Thank you, Christine.
So if
okay.
that was you, call us.
Absolutely, yeah. If you were the man with the dodgy bum in the zoo.
Oh, it's probably Wilfred, wasn't it?
It could have been,
Wasn't
couldn't it?
Yeah.
It could have been Wilfred. Who knows? We're also looking for Jobsworths, dirty Jobsworths on New Year's Eve, or you know, killjoys on New Year's Eve, because I mean there must be some around.
Yeah.
It was really what was really odd New Year's Eve. And I'm sure everybody noticed this, that all these people who were sort of partying out in the street wherever you happen to be. You know, all carrying booze, and some people carrying crates of it. You know, you got folk who've got like canisters literally on their back. You know, carrying sort of 50 litres of beer and a straw coming from it. And this kind of stuff, of course, would not be allowed normally in the day because, you know, a mass amount of people in one place at one time tanked up. And so it's just kind of odd to see this weird reversal of authority where the police obviously just, you know, they could do nothing but stand back, and which is how it was meant to be. And
I reckon the Jobsworth were Jobsworth because they were kind of, you know, were really jealous that everyone was having a good time apart from them.
Yeah, it probably is. But we don't want you to call us up and say, yeah, it's terrible, got done for drinking and driving. Chris, New Year's Eve, what a terrible state of affairs, you know, I mean, that's the point. But, I mean, if you did get, like, a parking ticket or, you know, something where somebody was doing their job just a little bit too enthusiastically on a New Year's Eve, then call us. It doesn't include wheel clamping either, because that would be normal to get wheel clamped if you're parking in the, you know, I don't know, in the middle of
Trafalgar
Princes
Square.
Street in Edinburgh or something, you know, or Trafalgar. Yes. I was only parked by Nelson's column. I didn't see the problem, officer. 08700 40 50 60. If that happens to you. The other one I want to bring in here is mystical minstrels. It's a mystical minstrel subject.
Oh, yes.
I met a man who changed my life.
Did you?
No, I didn't. I did meet a man once who attempted to change my life when I was living in Blackpool. Very, very weird.
Attempted to change your life in what sense?
Well,
or is it still to come in the mystical biography of...
yeah. Now, what I'm talking about here are people who, particularly people who travel. Do you know the old story of, you know, you're travelling around. You might have been doing this country, you could have been, you know, doing Europe or somewhere else in the world. And, you know, on your travels, you just sort of met someone who, and if it's as kind of cliched as, you know, literally sat around a fire in the Bavarian forest or something, while some old traveller told you stories that changed your life, or told you something, not necessarily in clairvoyant terms, but whatever, you had a conversation and it had a tangible effect on the entire direction of your life, or it was a bit of wisdom they imparted that made you think, hey, you know, wow, I never thought that before. And you never saw them again, and away they went. They were the mystical minstrel, telling you what was what. What's up with you? What?
Mystical minstrel.
We like the mystical minstrels. So if you met the mystical minstrel anywhere at all, let's have the detail. It's mystical minstrel detail, please.
Yeah.
You're up for that. Now, when I was in Blackpool, right, I had these digs on the South Shore in Blackpool, and it was great. I had a really good time there. And
On the beach with a spade?
I was not on the beach, I'll have you know.
Okay.
Okay? You're saying
kind of
like
digs.
some old donkey.
Yes.
No, I was on the, but near the beach.
Yeah.
Very near the beach. And so stayed in this place. I must have said this story at some point before. And it was like, a guest house. But I really got to know, like, everybody quite well who was living there, you know.
Yeah.
So there was me and the people I was living with, which were like Carol, Janita and folk who might be listening
Right.
at this moment. But might not. You never know.
You don't ever know.
Anyway, and so there are other folks staying in this place. In fact, one guy, an old guy called George, he had a hemorrhoid problem, big time.
Did he?
This man, I tell you what, scratch like you never saw.
Scratched up his backside.
Oh, like you never saw.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
Horrid.
How unsavoury.
Anyway, so there was all sorts of, different people would stay there from time to time, and there was one bloke who turned up who went under the name of James. It's very important that I say went under the name of James, because he stayed there for a long time. He was a bit interesting when he came in, because he said, I remember saying, what are you doing? He said, I'm a sales rep. He said, I sell clothes, kids' clothes or something on those lines. And I just knew the bloke was not telling me the truth. I just knew he wasn't telling me the truth. And then later on that night, he sat down and he said, well, I don't often tell people what I do because I go around and I spread the message, spread the message.
Spread the word.
But wow, this is it. I'm destined to come to Blackpool and, meet this person, whatever. And he was, I never really understood what he represented or what branch of, I'm assuming Christianity, because he had sort of, biblical aspects to his ideas, but he wasn't into going to church, and he wasn't into certainly vicars and the conventional kind of hierarchy. He wasn't into any of that at all. Very, very anti. Now that could have put him in the league in many sort of denominations of Christianity, I know, but I don't know. What he was doing was pretty much going around the streets distributing leaflets, with various
new age kind of thing.
Yeah, new age stuff, But he was, a really pleasant guy. He'd have a drink, he'd have a beer. He would swear, he would smoke. We'd sit there and play cards at night, only for sort of pennies and stuff. But he'd join in with that, and he was all right. He was quite a nice guy. But he, every now and again, he'd get into a rant about, you've got to open your eyes because stuff's going on, and things are happening. And so he'd get quite heavy sometimes. And so I'd love to be able to say that he gave me loads and loads of wisdom, but he didn't really. But I suppose what he did do, he kind of opened up my eyes for the first time to the fact that there are, very passionate people out there about, things that day to day the rest of us don't really think about, who dedicate their life to something. And I guess in that respect, maybe it served that purpose. But he was all over. He used to go out every day and he'd give out his leaflets.
Was he a bit of a hippie? Because that's the kind of thing
really. He didn't dress as a hippie. He used to sort of wear jeans and trainers, and he'd have a sort of tracksuit top on or something like that, and he had sort of curly hair. And he was very happy looking, quite healthy looking, fresh-faced bloke. And he'd give out his leaflets. Hello, how are you? All right, good to see you. It's a bit over the top sometimes.
But he wasn't weird.
No, he was a little bit weird. I've got to say. And he'd give out his leaflets, and he'd ask people to sort of give him a few pennies, So he'd come back, that's how he'd make his money, basically.
Right.
And he'd do that, and he was all right. And he had a guitar as well. He used to go around the town. I remember he
said I wasn't a hippie?
He said I sang my guitar to a group of skinheads today with my guitar. I said, didn't they laugh at you? He said, they were all laughing at me. He said,
and then he helped him off the neck with it.
He said that they all laughed at me. He said, but they had real sadness in their eyes. He said they had nothing to laugh at, really.
Ooh, very profound.
Yeah.
Was the song he was playing?
Could have been that, yeah. Could have been that. But anyway, interestingly, Ross sat there one evening in this house.
Yes.
I mean, I say his name was, say it was James Smith, for argument's sake. And the knock at the door. And we open the front door. 20 policemen.
My God.
At the door, VAT transit vans, the full Monty.
Wow.
This is the place where you live, right?
Yeah, it's like... so this copper stood there, from the Lancashire Constabulary, Does Mr. David Brown live here? So everyone said, well, no. Oh, well, he might be going under the name of... Justin Rogers. No, he doesn't live. No. What about Graham Flickman? No, not him. What? James Smith? Yeah, he lives here. Right, come on, lads, in you come. Police raid on the house.
My God.
Vroom, in they went. Which room's he in? That one there, door down, everything. They took the lot. The whole thing.
Well, they took, all his...
Everything he kind of owned.
All his possessions?
All his possessions, everything. Gone. Right? Never saw the guy again. Which is a bit bizarre.
Did they take him with them?
No, he wasn't there at the time. So, and he never came back either.
Weird.
So anyway, 3 months later,
Didn't you wonder what it was all about?
Oh, everybody did, yeah.
And did you ask the police? Did they not say?
They were kind of, don't worry, we know what we're doing, it was the police, not some huge fancy dress party that got out of control. But anyway, so 3 months later, I get this letter, and I recognised the kind of envelope that it came in, because I'd seen one before, and it was a prison envelope. And so I opened it up, and, Her Majesty's Prison, Winson Green, which is Birmingham, quite a big quite a large.
Penitentiary.
Yes, penitentiary. And he was in there. He'd been collared.
He was in prison.
He was actually wanted for resisting arrest. Or skipping bail or something or other somewhere. So there was a warrant out for his arrest, basically. That's why they wanted him. And he said in his letter, I'm in here, it's very, very strange. Nobody seems to know why I'm here. There's no charges against me as such. I'm on remand, but, it's all ridiculous. Went to court the other day. Even the magistrate, couldn't work it out and seemed confused and blah, blah, blah. And when he came back to the house another couple of months after that. What he asked me to do was to take his leaflets out of his van and put them somewhere safe. 'Cause he had this old van round the corner he didn't even know he had. And it was chock with all these printed leaflets of all his literature.
Oh.
So I thought, I'll do him that, So I went and took all his leaflets out of his van and stocked them in my room. I thought, what happens if they come round? We've got one of those religious nuts in there. We've already arrested one at that house. So I took all his...
Bring your girl back to your room and you've got that.
That's right, yeah.
Explain that then.
What else do you want to see
Jesus loves you too, see?
It's not just me. It's not just me. I really can feed you with this fish. Michael Fish, he's back again. He's in every sketch on this show. Anyway, so, and he eventually came back and he said that he believed, and he really did believe, as conspiratorial as you can get, he said that people like him are hounded around the world all the time because actually what they do is tell the truth. They talk about conspiracies, they talk about what's going on, and the authorities know who they are. They keep a distance to a certain degree, but if they say too much, once in a while they're pulled in. And he said, when we talk to each other around the country on telephones, other folk in his, group. He said, we have our own kind of way of communicating so that only we know what we're talking about. The powers that be don't like what we say. Blah, blah, blah.
So you thought he was being, actively monitored?
Yeah, big time. But, I don't think I ever once, and how crazy is this, in a year, said to this guy, who are you? What is the... I can't believe unless he kind of just said, we're...
So what was he like to go out for a beer with? Was he,
He could get a bit heavy, I remember, once there was...
That was when you were carrying him back, of course.
Exactly, yeah. He was very heavy then. But he wasn't my brother. I was his brother, because everybody was his brother. But no, he would do, once, we were in a pub once, 3 or 4 of us, and this guy was playing pool, and he said to me, I wonder, he said... what sort of life he has, that bloke there? And I said, I don't know. And he went up to this guy who looked quite a tasty sort with the old...
fellow.
With the fist. And he said, excuse me, what birth sign are you? And this guy really had the hump about this, And he was like that, but, in a way, asking somebody their birth sign doesn't demand being smacked in the chops, really.
Or sent to prison.
So I don't know, might have been more to the story, but it was a very interesting little chapter in that
bizarre
house.
character from your past.
Oh, many things happened in that house, believe me.
Okay.
Many strange things happened in that house. And I don't regret 1 minute of it, because it was a giggle. But anyway, so that was my mystical minstrel. His name was James, or John, or Jim, or Larry, or Graham, we don't know.
I don't think I've ever had a mystical minstrel. No.
Ambrose?
No.
On all your train journeys, never had that encounter when, you just meet somebody who says something, and, has a quick chat with you, and you think, they did something to me, and I don't know what they did.
Yeah.
The closest thing to a minstrel was when I was on the tube once, and there was these kind of renegade buskers, and they came on. They said, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to pay us anything, we're just here to provide a service. And then they sung one song, and the next stop, they literally legged it off, which is quite funny.
Really?
Yeah. So it was quite bizarre.
And what did you get from that? That music is cheap on a train?
It's a modern-day minstrel, but they weren't quite mystical.
Nothing too mystical about it.
No.
Nothing too mystical.
No.
That was very minstrelly.
That was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sarah Mulvey.
I can't really think. I've definitely never had something that stood out as being particularly mystical, but I do tend to find that I'm one of those people that people tend to tell their life stories to.
Yeah.
And I've had so many conversations on trains. Yeah, on trains with people. In fact, trains is always the place you end up having the most fascinating kind of conversations with people you never meet again, but nevertheless stay in your head. Yeah, everyone. Seriously.
You're the sort of person who gets in a conversation with strangers on the train.
I don't. No, they talk to me, honestly. All I need is a camera in my bag and I'd be away, Sort of free docos. But,
that'd be good.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Weird. Well, I'd never get talking to anybody on the train.
Well, they probably think you're too dodgy. Look at him, I'm talking to him, he'll mug me. Look at him, the old hoodlum. A mystical hoodlum, that's what you are.
That could be it, actually, yeah.
You never know. Yeah, I'm a bit of a magnet, actually, for flipping weirdos.
Yeah.
You are.
Thinking about it.
You are, yeah.
I really am, aren't I?
They all come talking to you.
Yeah.
Remember that last beer we went out with around your area, and those Russians came up to you?
That's true. That's true, yeah.
Russians in East London.
That's very true, yeah. They all look quite like, almost like Russian soldiers, didn't they?
Skinheads, I think.
Well, first looking at them, I thought, we're in for a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, and we're just walking down the road. Well, let's say it wouldn't be the first night we've been out and had trouble, would it? I mean,
No.
so it seems to something always seems to follow us around, doesn't it? And never our fault.
Not us, you.
It'd be me. Not my fault. Yeah, these big guys said, "Can you tell us where Hackney is?" Does that sound too German?
It was Virgin on the...
Virgin on
Germanic.
the... Yeah. But yeah, they wanted to know where Hackney was.
Yes, said, wie komme ich am besten zum Hackney, bitte?
But once I'd said that, I realised they were Russian because they replied to me, I don't know, but it ended in off. Yes, that's what we left. So we gone. There we are. Yeah, we did a magnet for the old weirdo. So, yes, if you met a mystical minstrel, New Year's Eve jobs worth as well, all of that and anything else you want to say, 08700 40 50 60.
My name's Chris, and I work in the futures market. I'm a single parent. What with work and 2 kids to bring up, where am I going to find someone who's right for me?
Talk Radio Matchmaker is the easiest way for Talk Radio singles to meet new people. Just tell us the kind of people you'd like to meet and let the MatchLink system go to work. Enroll in Talk Radio's Matchmaker free of charge now on 0808 100 1089 in complete privacy. Call Talk Radio's Matchmaker today and let us help you find your perfect partner. 0808 100 1089.
Here's Sunraysia's Grandma Ruby with a poem about Sunraysia prune juice she wrote all by herself.
I've never been to London, and I've never been to Scone. In fact, I've never crossed the street or been far away from home. But when my big son Danny said, across the sea we'll go with Sunraysia prune juice, he'll put on quite a show. You'll see my Aussie family, Dan and his younger son called Bram, will be bringing Sunraysia prune juice to the UK by the dram. So if you've never tasted prune juice, why not put Aussie Sunraysia to the test? And I'm sure you'll agree with Granny, with Sunraysia's taste, you'll be impressed.
Now you can help Sunraysia raise £250,000 for the Cancer Research Campaign. Look for the new logo of the Cancer Research Campaign on every bottle of Sunraysia prune juice. 5 pence of your purchase price of Sunraysia 250ml prune juice is donated to the Cancer Research Campaign to support their vital cancer research and education. Sunraysia prune juice is now available from Morrison stores.
Degsy in the morning, weekdays from 9. I know very well that I wouldn't want to stay alive. That would be a living hell for me, that. So surely I've got the right to say at that moment in time I want a machine switched off.
We must not have the right to kill somebody.
Well, I mean, nobody wants to kill someone.
I hate to tell you, this is happening to people who are not even seriously ill, let alone terminally ill.
Degsy in the morning, weekdays from 9 on Talk Radio. I like sex.
I mean, I think a bit of give and take is nice.
Very, very much. Very, very much.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Now that's interesting, really, because we haven't heard from Eilish this year.
Yeah, where is Eilish?
Don't know.
Because she didn't call the
Since the National Lottery scandal.
Yeah, that was... Yeah.
She didn't call before Christmas either.
All quite worried, actually. Where is she, Eilish? Where are you, Eilish?
You're out there, I love. You're out there. If you are, give us a call.
I don't believe it.
Well, you'll have to believe it. We just want to hear you.
Yeah.
08700 40 50 60, which at the end of the day is a
very good point,
isn't it? Very. 08700 40 50 60. Our lines are open, whatever you want to sling in. We got stories here knocking around. It happened at the zoo, dirty secrets of the rich and famous. I met a man who changed my life. Yes, we are looking for the mystical minstrels of your life and the ones who gave you a bit of wisdom or changed it in some kind of way because you met them on a train or on a bus or walking down the road or in the woods or while travelling or wherever. 08700 40 50 60. On top of all of that, it's New Year's Eve jobs worth. They gave you a parking ticket. They pulled you up for speeding, for doing 1 mile an hour over the odds. They told you couldn't ever take that crate of beer down that road, or whatever it was. It was New Year's Eve, and they were still doing their job. The dirty swines.
You're a sad man.
08700 40 50 60. This is Andy in Exeter.
Hello, Ian. You don't have to make I laugh. Anyway, this is a job's worth, mate.
Yes.
And I'm not going to mention any names, but I was on a morning programme on TV just before New Year.
Oh, were you?
And as you know, being a contributor, everything's paid, whatever. So I got my ticket from Exeter, right, got on train, did my stuff, came back. And because I got the train half an hour before I should have done, which is no odds to me, the train inspector pulled it in front of everybody because the train was packed, told me how to get off or pay 40 quid cash now. And I sat there and I thought, well, I ain't going to be abusive, but this guy's giving me hassle.
And this was New Year's Eve?
Well, just before. And he gave me hassle. He literally shouted in front of me, look, unless you give me £40 cash, you've got to get off the next stop. I said, look, mate, I don't know where you're coming from, but these train tickets, are 84 quid return. And it doesn't say there anything about time of going back or whatever. It just says super savers, but reserved tickets. And the dates are all in order. And I sort of said to him, look, just go away and leave me. He said, well, if you don't pay now, he said, at the other end, he said, I'll have the police, the train police, and you'll get billed for double the amount.
Double the amount?
Yeah. And I said, no way.
No way, you don't want that malarkey.
Yeah, look, you just go away and leave me alone. You can do what you like. But I ain't getting off this train.
No.
And I am not going to argue with you.
Even though you bought an invalid ticket?
I didn't buy it.
Or you were given it?
They
sent it to you.
BBC programme.
Yeah, the swines.
And I was so livid. At the end, he looked at me and said, right, we'll sort it out at the end. I said, you can sort it any way you like, mate.
Good for you.
But in front of the whole train was packed.
As opposed to taking you into his office on the train.
Right. He was there.
He actually decided to do it in the carriage.
Yeah.
Well, you see, the thing is, Andy, I don't understand what people are like. You know, I don't understand the cheek of people.
No, it's horrible things.
Pete, can I just say, just out of interest?
Yeah.
I mean, we appreciated Andy's story.
Yeah.
But it didn't actually happen on New Year's Eve.
Didn't quite fit in, did it, really?
No.
And he wasn't batty, and he wasn't young.
It was kind of an in-between.
Yeah, but it's New Year's Eve Jobsworth.
I thought it was just like Jobsworth.
No, that's the point, that it's New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve Jobsworth. All right, I'll sort it out.
It's got to be on New Year's Eve. The fact that on New Year's Eve, when everybody is happy and celebrating, somebody decided to still do their job.
Moany old Jobsworth is,
That's the problem.
Yeah, I'll get you now.
Right, okay. We have a fact. Sarah.
Yes, we do. From Les. And yes, two anecdote point things. A few months ago, there was a small column in a tabloid that only alleged, of course, that Clinton used to be a coke user. I have been laughing at his nose ever since. Yes. And then he says about apes and chimps. On Horizon tonight, it was suggested that chimps could be genetically altered to develop human traits and emotions. Considering chimps have virtually the same 99% DNA code as a human, maybe the human race originally evolved from apes genetically manipulated by extraterrestrial beings in an experiment. Yes. And that's why they keep turning up to monitor us. Apart from the vast distances of space, I see no reason why this should not be the case.
So the apes to the aliens?
No, that we came from apes because they were genetically manipulated by extraterrestrials.
Oh, yeah. Don't believe it.
No.
Anyway, Papin. Hello, Papin. Who's, of course, in Liverpool, says, I once attended an audio-visual course in my hometown of Liverpool, and I was there for like 6 to 7 weeks before an agency called, an agency came to say, well, why does everybody always have to put the name of something? Does it matter? Maybe that becomes relevant in the story, I don't know. Anyway, I once attended an audio-visual course in my hometown of Liverpool, and I was there for 6 to 7 weeks before an agency called... I once attended an audio-visual course in my hometown in Liverpool, and I was there. It'd be really handy if it said on the top of the facts what this is about before I start to read it, because I could get halfway down, Pap, and it could be, like, mega boring.
Yes.
I don't think so, no.
Or just unreasonable, unreadable.
Yeah. You know, like reference, whatever on the top. I once attended an audio-visual course in my hometown of Liverpool, and I was there for 6 to 7 weeks before an agency came to us and requested 8 extras for Brookside. Right, so it's a reference to... I was one who got picked for the dirty job. 50 quid, not bad, for sitting in a makeshift college inside a nursery in Chidwell for 30 minutes. But the great thing was I got to meet Anna Frail, who eventually will go on to marry me.
Deluded man.
Yes, who was in the same shoot as me. The same shoot, yes. Well, at the break, she sat in the same reet hall as... This is the worst punctuation, spelling, and everything I've ever seen. The same rest hall, should that say? And we got chatting to her. Then we started to shoot again. Afterwards, I approached her and had a little chat again. She was off to the local pub to meet her friend and offered me and my friend to come along with her. We cleverly accepted and went along for a bit of a drink-up with Anna. Very nice dude. Cut a long story short, last bit is absolutely untrue, Papin. I can tell you that for a fact.
Oh, yes.
Well, one aspect of it. It's nothing bad. No, you can't see.
I want to see.
Well, it depends what he means by it. I don't know.
Thank you.
That's not true, surely. Is that right? Really? To reference the last story? Oh, right. Okay. Brilliant. Okay, this is Jason. Jason, hello.
Jason.
No, you're Jason. I'm Ian.
Ian, listen.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to ring you back because my superior is coming down in about 5 minutes, yeah?
No problem.
I'm going to ring you back in about an hour's time.
All right, stay there, Jason. Let me put you back to Pete a second. Tell Pete, because if your superior's coming down, it's a job's worth thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Don't want any hassle there. So I was going to mention, actually, I think it's... is it Russ? It's Russ who sent me loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of literature and paraphernalia about, like, a sort of prophetic-induced world ending.
He's auditioning to be on Mystical Minstrel.
I think he is. And it's, let me just say, first of all, Russ, well, number one, I mean, the amount of work you put... I hope you're listening to this, by the way. The amount of work you put into this thing is absolutely staggering. So, fair play to you on that. I haven't read it all, but it does... It talks about... I mean, some of it I follow, and some of it I don't. And the reason I don't is... it isn't because, intellectually I can't grasp it. It's just, like, written... like a lot of people do when they're trying to make a point in a very kind of excited fashion, which sometimes skips over the meat of what you're supposedly, But it's all about conspiracies and how, the Bible predicted, and technically we're now in the year, we're in the 6,000th year now, in biblical numbers or something, and that is when it's supposed to happen, and woohee. So sometime this year, we're up for the Big Bang, and it's going to involve Israel, it'll involve the Catholic Church as well, it'll involve a whole bunch of stuff going off. So that's sort of as far as I got, but Rust, I mean, don't think, it's been ignored, because when I saw what you'd sent, first of all, I thought it was a load of photocopied, like, information, and only as I got reading, I realised, actually, you'd written the damn thing yourself, and put it together in your sort of own words and own time, and that was amazing. It was, I don't know how many thousand words are on there, but it was,
It's a college thesis.
It was, yeah. I mean, it made a dissertation look like something you put on the back of a fag packet. So put it that way. 08700 40 50 60. Any of the above you want to talk about, jobs worth, mystical minstrels, or whatever else, then call us now. The lines are open.
My name's Andrew Barnes, and I work with the aid agency World Vision. I want you to think of the worst humanitarian crises you've seen on your TV. Images of starving children in Ethiopia, of the killing fields of Cambodia, of genocide in Rwanda and ethnic cleansing in former Yugoslavia. Many of us gave to the emergency appeals, but have you ever wondered what happens when the TV film crews leave and the people affected become yesterday's news? World Vision responded to all these emergencies, but we also stayed and put in place long-term programs to help people rebuild their lives. Often we do this with government grants, but mostly it's through the support of ordinary people who commit to sponsoring a child. Sponsorship helps an individual child, and it enables us to carry out vital development work in their community, like providing clean water and improving healthcare and education. I see this happen, and I know it works. Please sponsor a child today. Just call 0800 50 1010 for an information pack. That's 0800 50 1010.
Talk Radio. On 1053 and 1089 AM. This is Talk Radio.
Hello? 08700 40 50 60. Get your gear off, I'm about to stick my hand up your arse.
You're a sad man.
Voice of the common man. Voice of the common man.
Definitely, I don't want to get into, TV shows they should bring back, but I mean, that's the one. Tales of the Unexpected. You ever seen that on, like, UK Gold or whatever?
No.
They must show it on one of those channels.
They're not really anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, it's on UK Gold, I'm sure it is.
It must have been at some point. Yeah.
UK Gold is just the best channel ever.
No, it's not.
Do you like it?
No.
Oh, I just like it.
Because it has funny things on there, that's why, isn't it?
No, because it's...
As opposed
yeah,
to,
exactly.
documentaries about death.
UK Horizons, that's where to be. Oh, do you know they've brought back the real Beehive Bedlam? Just wanted to announce
Oh,
that
is it
to the
back
world.
now? Is
Yes,
it?
my
Yeah.
life is again complete.
For those people who have Sky Digital. She loves it.
I do.
No, the thing about what?
The thing about UK Gold is it's just like TV that you want to see again and again and again.
Yeah, although sometimes it does stray from that sometimes. I mean, you don't always get... You might get an hour of All Creatures Great and Small.
They've got an unhealthy liking for that.
They absolutely have. No, that thing never did me any favours.
Sunday blooming nights.
No, it's a nightmare.
Unreal. To me, it was like
Watching
Last
paint
of the
dry.
Summer Wine with cows and no gags. Not the Last of the Summer Wine was overladen with gags, but, the point's there, isn't it?
And they also like to put the bill on about 10 times a day. But
They like that, but I like the bill.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm big on the bill.
No,
well, I used to be, I don't...
Do you know, I saw Family Affairs recently. I never watched soap operas, and I have to say, it's pretty good.
Oh, it's top-notch.
It's actually much more in the vein of, like, Channel 4 type stuff than it is, I mean, it's for Channel 5, it's, like, not bad.
It's one of the better soaps.
Even though Pearson do make it. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was really good.
No, I think it's one of the better soaps, yeah. Quite good, actually, for Channel 5, as you say.
Yeah, I was really quite impressed. And the camera work on it, it's like, it's trying, I mean, it's less annoying than the camera work on something like ER or what was that other thing, that police thing, cop, bloody
NYPD
American.
Blue.
Thank you. Ambrose is always on my wavelength. It's very worrying. Yes, and the camera work on this thing is pretty good. It's pretty kind of like, this life type vein of...
Isn't you going into all your TV technology talk?
It's good.
It's good.
It's good, I tell you.
Good.
I've never seen an episode of Brookside.
Haven't you?
No.
Neither of me. It's pretty weird, neither have I.
Never seen an episode of Emmerdale.
Oh, I have.
Not a whole one.
I like Emmerdale.
You don't.
Emmerdale.
Emmerdale, followed by
no.
EastEnders, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Great.
Do you watch Emmerdale?
Yeah.
I've never seen it. That's like an old granny's thing. That's an old fogey's soap.
No, you just no.
I know they've changed it a lot.
Yeah, the turning point for Emmerdale was that
plane crash.
The great plane crash. Possibly the worst soap episode ever.
But they blew up a whole lot of Family Affairs people, didn't they, as well?
Yeah, that's
the gas explosion.
The whole lot, basically.
It's a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
And if you think about Coronation Street and EastEnders, the sort of two big soap operas, then, okay, they do dramatic storylines, but I don't think either of them have ever had a storyline where they've actually got rid of sort of 25 characters in one go. They've never had to make it that big or that unrealistic. I mean, Emmerdale, a plane crashes on a village. There's only 3 people live in that damn village.
Desperate script writing there.
What the hell was all that about?
That was Phil Redmond, wasn't it? The genius that is.
Yeah.
Who did that.
Not Emmerdale, no.
Yeah, it was. No, they got him in to do that.
Episode.
It was his concept, because they brought him in.
the plane crash?
Yeah, they brought him in to revamp Emmerdale. I was watching a documentary about it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Phil Redmond did Emmerdale?
Yeah, well, for that, during that period. He was brought in to change it.
I thought it was the other bloke.
That was his idea.
What's his name? The butcher, what do they call him?
Oh, yeah, the butcher. What's he, yeah.
Because there was one bloke who did, there was the Butcher of Crossroads when that used to be on. And then he went to Neighbours in Australia.
Right.
Can't remember his name.
When Crossroads became 90-degree corner.
That's the one, yeah. Blimey, yeah. I mean, they've all done it. Are you sure it was Phil Redmond who did that Emmerdale?
He's not on Emmerdale now, but he was on Emmerdale during that period. It was they brought him in to revamp it, and it was his idea, the aeroplane crash.
No, that wasn't Phil Redmond, was it?
I put my life's money on it.
Was it?
Yeah, it was, because I watched it on the TV about a week ago. It was over Christmas, I think, 2 days after Christmas, there was this big hour on Great Soap Moments.
Yeah, that's right. I wish I'd seen that, actually.
Yeah, and Phil Redmond was on there talking about it.
Blimey. Because I know that he did, because what did he do after Brookside? Is Biker Grove Phil Redmond?
No, what,
Grange Hill was Phil Redmond.
Grange Hill.
It's the one with the, oh, God, is it Hollyoaks?
Hollyoaks is Phil Redmond, that's right, yeah.
That annoying guitar riff.
Yeah. Not that they're trying to resemble Friends in any respect.
Yeah.
You know, with that thing.
All that, what's it called, High thing that was on.
Oh, yeah, do you remember that?
Very, very similar to
Was it
Hollyoaks.
Australian, wasn't it?
No, it was American, I think.
Sweet Valley High?
Yeah, or something like that.
Heartbreak High.
Heartbreak High.
Heartbreak High. Or...
That was the one. Yeah, you're a bit of an old anorak, aren't you, with your old soaps?
Speaking of bizarre behind-the-scenes people like Phil Redmond,
yeah.
Do you know who, the director of The English Patient, Anthony Minghella, winner of Oscars, do you know who he used to write scripts for?
Phil Redmond?
No. Grange Hill. He was a script editor.
Is that right?
Seriously?
Yeah. In the 80s.
Good God.
Yeah.
Weird.
I love those humble beginning stories. They're always good.
Yeah.
It's like Roger Moore. You know, was never always James Bond.
He was like a little bit part.
He was once a baby, which people don't always know.
A baby?
Yeah,
Really?
that's right. As a kid, that was.
Yeah.
Not as an adult, you know.
And did he drink martini then as well?
No, wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't touch it. And then only went on to become James Bond in later life. And now he's not doing it at all.
Weird.
So, you know, it's the evolution of an actor.
Yeah.
The evolution of... So, yeah, great soap moments, actually. I mean, we'll run a little bit on that because, I mean, that has to be the worst soap moment, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Do you remember old Annie? Was it Annie or Fanny?
Fanny Annie.
What do they call it? Annie Sugden.
Oh, when she left, when she sung the song in The Rovers?
No, she was in Emmerdale.
Wrong soap.
She was the one who got killed in the plane crash. She was everyone's mother. She was everybody's mother. She was the most annoying woman ever on television.
Everybody's mother.
She was. Absolutely right. And she acted like one as well. I've got to tell you. It was just, like, ludicrous, because they dropped this plane in a field, and I don't know how many of the cast they wiped out at the same time.
Archie was a goner. Nick was a goner.
But Emmerdale, the times I see little bits of Emmerdale, I've never known such a soap with such weird people in it who were supposed to be sex symbols.
I watch it for Kathy. You know, Kathy, the blonde-haired one who tried to launch a pop career and failed miserably. Melinda someone.
Melinda, yeah.
You don't even know
like her, do you?
Tell me she's not sexy.
No, she's not sexy at all.
She's not sexy, Pete.
No,
Nobody
she's not.
you like is sexy.
She's definitely not sexy. She's sort of pretty in a 45-year-old way.
Get out of it. She's about 25, isn't she?
25, my backside. What are you talking about? She's at least 60. No, she's probably in her 30s now, I should think.
Another great soap moment, Coronation Street, the fire in the Rovers.
That was when Bet was...
Bet was caught in there.
Caught in there.
Drama at its best.
Worst soap actress of all time, Bet, actually.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Quite true, actually.
Yeah, if she didn't have blonde hair and big potential, then no one would ever have heard of her.
I think you're right.
In a million years. There you go. And there was a good one when Alf Roberts' first wife, this is one of my first memories, Renee Roberts, who was the most annoying, who looked a bit like Deirdre, funnily enough. She had those big glasses. She died in a car crash of some description. And she always had big wide eyes anyway. So you can imagine what they looked like when the car came towards her.
Bulging out.
Talk about a diameter increase. You know? Just going places. 08700 40 50 60.
Sky News Centre. This is Talk Radio News.
Beckham sees red in Rio. Aitkins last night behind bars, and unions vote for Ken. Good morning, it's 3 o'clock. I'm Amanda Goodman. It's been a dramatic night for Manchester United. The opening match of their World Club Championship campaigns seen David Beckham sent off for a reckless first-half tackle. United were behind the Mexican side Necaxa for much of the match, but Dwight York equalised in the dying minutes shortly after missing a penalty. Talk Radio's Graham Beecroft watched Dwight York's goal.
Sheringham lifts it beyond him to Solskjaer. He tries the volley. Chance here for York, and York has put the ball in the back of the net, and it's going to count. Dwight York for Manchester United. Talking about getting out of jail, Dwight York has done it for himself, and he's very probably done it for Manchester United as well.
Sir Alex Ferguson has sprang to David Beckham's defence, claiming that the Necaxa players got him sent off. He claims there was nothing wrong with the challenge and says the Argentinian referee only produced a red card because of the protests of the Necaxa players. Disgraced former Cabinet Minister Jonathan Aitken is due out of prison today. The 57-year-old will have to stick to a 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. curfew and be electronically tagged. Bobby Cummings from prisoners' rights group Unlock says it's Mr. Aitken's family who've suffered from his imprisonment.
Loss of one's liberty is a big thing. I think the people who really suffered, as I said before, when Jonathan Aitken first went to prison, that it's the family that suffer this. The family are criminalised, and they haven't chosen to be part of that criminal activity.
Ken Livingstone's received a boost in his bid to become Labour's candidate for London Mayor. The Transport and General Workers Unions announced he has their vote. Sport and England's specialist one-day players have flown out to South Africa. The likes of Nick Knight, Mark Elam, Graham Hick and Worcester youngster Vikram Solanki could play in the three-day game in Port Elizabeth on Sunday. Solanki impressed the recent A-Tour and says he's ready for the challenges ahead. Those are the top stories from the Sky News Centre. The weather, wet and windy in Scotland and Northern Ireland, rain in Northern England, cold and dry everywhere else. Lows of 1 Celsius, 33 Fahrenheit in Newport, freezing in Glasgow. Those are the top stories from the Sky News Centre. It's 3 minutes past 3.
Thank you very much.
When you're calling the show, remember who you're ringing the voice of the common man here. You're not just kind of phoning any old pod. I sort this thing out for you. I said, unos, tres, tres. Work, baby, your mother. This man was amazing. What did you think she had going in there? Some old kind of vibro action.
08700 40 50 60.
Nutsville out there, Nutsville. Never underestimate the nutty fraternity of the UK, because they are everywhere.
Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces draw the same that burn crosses.
You silly man.
Killing in the name of.
Good morning.
Killing in the name of. Now you do what they told you.
Oh, shut up.
Now you do what they told you.
Oh, shut up.
Now you do what they told you.
Oh, shut up.
Now you do what they told you.
Oh, shut up.
Now you do what they told you. Now you do what they told you.
Bloody hell.
And now you do what they told you.
Bloody hell.
And now you do what they told you.
Bloody hell.
And now you do what they told you.
Voice of the common man.
You do what they told you. And now you do what they told you.
Whip me.
And now you do what they told you. Those who died are justified. For wearing the badge, they get chosen white. You're justified. Those that died for wearing the badge, they get chosen white.
Ian Collins on the new Talk Radio.
For wearing the badge, they get chosen white. You're justified. Those who died for wearing the badge, they get chosen white. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Yes. Some of those
Sarah is listening, which I know she is, probably in the ladies' room. Can she bring me a cup of tea back, please?
Should be
That'd be fantastic. Thank you, Stevie.
Thank you, Stevie.
It's got a couple of... Sam Fox is going out with the...
Who's she going out with?
Is that meant to be cryptic, Stevie? This is Stevie who faxed us with a couple of bits and pieces. One, a couple of really nice... one's a really good showbizy thing, which we obviously can't mention. And the other one, I'm assuming, is like a cryptic kind of...
Can't you read it out?
Sam Fox is going out with the man in... Anybody know... If you know what that means... Well, Stevie obviously knows what it means. Can you email me back? I'd like to know. Fabulous Baker Boys... so what's up with Pop-Up? He's not himself this morning.
Oh, I haven't been up myself this morning.
Hasn't been at the old nose candy, it says here.
I'll tell you, I've been
Been an old Peruvian marching dust.
I feel like I'm on a different planet. I do.
Yes. Has a couple of kilos of old sherbet been found in his nasal passages.
You know what I know, mate.
Like old Dickie Dust Huster Bacon. Well, you never know. He went through all that, now he's clean. It was another, I have to admit my drug problem. But now I'm all right. Anyway, speaking of spaced-out, mind-blowing hallucinogenics, Eilish, don't tempt fate, Ian, please. Don't ask where she is. Maybe she's happy not calling in.
I wouldn't think so.
You know how we love her. Question for Sarah. How's your Sky Digital? Has yours ever crashed or locked up yet? Or what has, if anything, gone wrong with it? I shall ask her when she comes back. Because she will be coming back. Thank you to Tony, who says, I was at the Manic Street Preachers gig on New Year's Eve. Great gig, but felt sorry for all the road crew who had to work the night away while we enjoyed the band.
Oh, I was meant to be there.
Meant to be there, and you didn't want to. Did anyone go from your lot?
No, we all decided not to go.
Yeah?
We went to some house party.
Everyone went their separate ways, did
But
they?
the Manic's gig looked really good on the telly.
Looked brilliant, didn't it?
And they did a set before.
Yeah.
Before midnight, and then they did a set afterwards as well. And it all looked very good, and I kind of regret it now.
The only trouble is, we were saying the other day in the office, if you were kind of at something like that, I mean, how do you get to the bar to get a drink?
Oh, it's just like being at a concert.
Of course it is.
It is a concert.
And you know what it's like when you're at a gig and you want to, try and get to the bar. You can go out there and miss the entire set, by the time you're back.
Exactly.
And that kind of stuff happens. And, of course, it's plastic glasses, everybody. And when you get back, how much beer is left in there?
Millimetres.
Millimetres, absolutely right. Millimetres. Because of all those people who kind of decide to do that ridiculous movement in the crowd.
Yeah.
You see, if gigs had seating, as I've always suggested they should have, sofas and armchairs and stuff, we would be in a totally different situation.
Let's not get into this.
Far more orderly people.
We have opposing views on this particular subject.
No, but what I'm talking about, though, is that you would have people who would come around regularly. You'd press a light on your share, and, a beer would come along, in some kind of, I don't know, conveyor belt number somewhere.
I reckon if I took you to the right gig,
yeah,
you'd be cured. Cured of this mentality.
Cured of my sophophobia. Sophophobia.
Because you would
cured of this mentality.
You would be.
But I'm happy with the mentality.
You wouldn't be able to just keep still.
Every time I've been anywhere that involves standing up, regardless of whether regardless of whether it's a gig, no matter where it happens to be. But anyway, you've got to stand for any length of time. All I ever wanted is a chair. I just don't get the standing up for 4 hours thing.
I haven't been to see the right music. Well, yeah, the trouble is you've been to a lot of concerts, whereas I'm talking about gigs that are more kind of intimate,
If you're some,
I can kind of understand if
you're at a 100 audience gig, right? 100 people audience gig, something like that. Major reason to be sat.
Get out of here.
Major reason. Why would you want to stand up when you could sit down?
I can't describe it.
That's like saying, I don't want to drink when I'm thirsty.
But you don't want to sit down. It's the last thing on your mind. You want to be kind of jumping up and down. You want to be jigging it like a jiggy thing.
but who would want to do that is what I'm saying, Pete. Idiots dance, girls dance, blokes don't do that.
No, you haven't seen us.
No,
people.
I have seen it. Unfortunately, I have.
No.
Which is why I really believe I'm now cured of that mentality and onto my new mentality.
You haven't been to the right punk rock gigs.
Which is sitting down.
Rubbish.
The one thing, I'll give you this much, okay? To go to a punk rock gig and sit down would be a tad odd, all right?
Yeah.
Okay? It would be a little bit odd.
But not only would it be odd, you wouldn't want to,
when we were about 13, 14, we often used to go down to the Leascliffe Hall in Folkestone. It would have various bods and bands and folk who, and I don't know, I probably saw some folk that you would die for down there and couldn't tell you. But they were quite regular things. Because Folkestone was like a big area. We used to like go to Folkestone anyway. We'd often go into this Leascliffe Hall, Leascliffe Hall, and all sorts of folk would be on down there. And that was an all-standing arrangement, and that was pretty free because you could, because it was quite small, not tiny, but it was quite small, and you could mooch to the bar, and it was kind of all right. Yeah, and I would have a few mates who'd go diddle-o on the floor.
You see, it's so diametrical.
I mean, of course, you know, you must remember, I am the man that did go to the Mandela gig and was tainted for life.
That's the problem, yeah.
That's the problem. 14 hours on my feet.
You see, we're so diametrically opposed. There's a music venue near here, and it's quite big, but the majority of it's standing. But there's a seating section like upstairs, so you're looking down on the band.
Yeah.
And I mean, to me,
you know about the one round the corner?
Yeah. Yeah.
The one you go to a fair bit, yeah.
If I couldn't get standing tickets, I wouldn't go.
You wouldn't go?
I wouldn't go. If someone gave me a seating ticket, I just wouldn't. It'd be torture for me. Torture. I wouldn't go.
Seriously? Yeah, that's because you have to stand up every time you're playing a sting, you know?
Seriously.
You do. Every time you hear music, it's like, no.
I wouldn't. I could.
If
I went to an Idlewild gig and had to sit down upstairs, I couldn't do it.
I think it was quite good, actually, devising torture for Pete.
Well, because it's just... They might as well not be there. You might as well be watching him on the telly.
Chain him to his chair.
Why would that be? You see, I don't get that, because I'm sure if you said to, you know, the Idlewild boys, you know, what's going off there? What do you think of your people at your gigs? And they'd probably say, well, you know, don't we quite like them, but there's a few arseholes who dance around at the front. We can't get our head around. And they'd probably like be in love with the people who sit down.
No, you see Roddy on the stage, and he's just as much into it as the kids.
Well, he's got to stand up, hasn't he? Of course he has.
No, but he's well into it, man.
I think Roddy knows a sit-down audience from a stand-up one.
Moment. No,
I believe he does. And yeah.
Scored a number 2.
I'm going to drag you.
What?
Sitting down audience.
You're going to come to an Idlewild gig one of these days.
I'd do it. I'd go to an Idlewild gig any time. They're a fine example.
Fine act.
Fine act. No problem in that direction, but I you know, would have to take my own. If it came to it, I'd have to take one of those blow-up armchairs. You know the little things? Yeah. And if anybody dares stub a fag out on it, there'd be trouble.
You'd get lynched.
Well, of course I would, yeah. Of course I would. But I'd kind of, wherever I would be, if I was stood up, I'd stand up by the bar, that's for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. You're just silly.
Well, apart from anything else, Pete, I'm 33 now, you know, I'm like a bit of a dork, stood there jumping up and down like an idiot.
Well, that's the only problem, yeah.
No, you're not supposed to agree with that. You're supposed to say, don't be silly. There's plenty of people of your age and older go to... Well, you have bumped into a few...
They'll have Zimmer frames, anyway.
A few people with strange age demographics at some of your gigs, haven't you?
I have, and they all... I really hate to say it, because...
It looks ridiculous. I'll say it for you.
It does look ridiculous. Yeah. I wouldn't say you and your age, but anything.
How generous of you.
That guy on the commode recently that you saw looked totally mad.
Silly, yeah.
Silly. No, and what a mess when they kept jumping him up and down in the air like that.
Anything over the age of 40 shouldn't be going to gigs, I'm afraid.
Yeah, or go the City Down ones where, you know, I don't know, Val Doonican plays or something.
Yeah, it's graceful. If you can sit down, at least you kind of, you know, you realise that you shouldn't really be there.
I mean, when I went to when I went to the Last Supper, we all sat down there, incidentally. It was very nice.
Everyone was pointing at Jesus.
It was Jesus at the end, and we had a very nice meal, and I was glad to be sat down. But no, when I went to that Stones gig, I mean, this is how, with Mikey and Myth and the Wonder Sheep.
Was the Wonder Sheep there, was he?
Yeah, this was, 3 or 4 years ago, on the Voodoo Lounge tour.
Mick Jagger's brother there as well.
He was sat in front of us, oddly enough. He was actually sat in front of us, because he likes it, and he likes a bit of limelight, old Mick Jagger's brother. And he looks just like Mick. Completely. Have you ever seen him, Pete?
No.
Spitting image.
I haven't, no.
Yeah. Spitting image is a weird thing to say, and he kind of don't care who knows it, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, they gave us, because it was a freebie, we recorded a couple of we were allowed to record first two songs from the gig. You know, you're plugged in. And then this woman comes around and unplugs quickly everybody's wires.
Really?
From every outlet, yeah, so you don't get any more on...
So were you in the press section? Oh.
Initially in the middle. You know where they have the big sort of sound desk often at a big gig, and it was sort of extended from there, so we were in there. And there was actually right in the middle, in tiered seating, there was some sort of VIP places where like Jerry Hall and Geldof and people like that was sat. Anyway, we got tickets to go back out and then in again and sit at the side. And I was, because of plastic seats, of course, it's Wembley.
Sure, yeah.
Very distressed I was too. Even the seat wasn't adequate.
So you sat down in Wembley? In the end?
Well, we didn't have a choice in that. I mean, that was the way it was. But even so, I thought that there was no cushion.
I'm just really not a big fan of stadium gigs, concerts, full stop, really. I seriously, you might as well be watching it on the TV. You're so far away from it.
Well, that is the problem. You're caught between the devil and the proverbial deep blue sea, everybody.
Very well
you
put.
can be right at the front, okay, or say about 20 people back, okay, and have a cracking view. But then, of course, you've got to suffer kidney abuse and every other kind of bodily abuse from people who decide that they want to, do strange things to you as you stand there. And inflatable bananas are, regularly aimed in the direction of your kind of rectal regions. You're stuffed, basically, if you're in that area of the crowd, because you're crushed, you can't breathe, you can't drink, and therefore you tend to find that your enjoyment factor is somewhat reduced. Not conducive, I would say, with a happy gig, but... you can then do the thing of, okay, we'll have a seat at the back, and as Pete says, you might... In fact, all you do is sit and watch the screen.
Silly, yeah.
Which are out of sync, incidentally, so you end up kind of seeing something that
worse than TV.
It's worse than TV. But there is, I mean, you can kind of... Sometimes you can sort of get it right. Depends where you are. I think the best place at a big stadium gig is right at the front, but to the side. And if you can get by a railing... At the front to the side,
you'll get half price.
Well, you can. What do you mean you get half price?
Because you won't be able to see the gig.
No, I don't mean that. That to the side. I mean just a little bit to the side. But if you got a railing, at least you got something to lean on.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
And actually pull yourself away if somebody starts going stupid and ape with their bodily bits. So yeah, that's the deal. That's my advice. Because I did nearly die at a U2 gig once.
Tell me about it.
Very, very. I mean, quite seriously. Crushed. Like an old grate. I thought, that's it. That's it. That's me. No more.
Were you on the floor?
Very nearly.
Really?
Very nearly on the floor. It was not nice at all. And you know how, I mean, every one of those big stadium affairs, you know those dudes at the front who wear the yellow things and pull people out of,
Top guards.
Crowds, yeah.
Security, don't they?
Yeah, and some people are passed along, aren't they, when they're a bit nauseous or whatever. I thought I was going to have to be yanked. By a chief yanker.
You thought you would have to do a bit of crowd surfing.
Yeah, there was me and must have been about a dozen people around me, and everyone looked like I felt.
It is scary. The scary thing about that is I've been in exactly the same position in festivals, is you're being squashed, and you look around you, and there's no way.
Nowhere to go.
1,000 people each direction.
Yeah.
Thousands of people each direction.
Yeah, you can't
no
go
way of
anywhere.
Getting out. And especially the start of a set, you realise you've got, an hour of this. But
and there is nowhere to go.
Doesn't affect me though.
You like it a lot.
I do. Talking of big gigs, did anyone see Robbie Williams at Dublin Castle on Channel 4 the other night?
Was it good?
I did like the whole concert on Channel 4, about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And Robbie Williams is opposed to the kind of music I like as anything, but I thought he was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Robbie Williams is just like a showbiz god.
Oh, he is probably one of the best entertainers.
He is an entertainer and a half.
Of the last 20, 30 years. Robbie Williams is the best, note the word entertainer, since Frank Sinatra.
I'd put you pretty close, actually. Nearest we've come to the second Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
He's that good.
He's that good.
He's a god, he's a king, Robbie Williams, I love him.
Yeah, if you see, when he does TFI or whatever, and the last time I remember saying it, didn't I? Saw him on TFI, and the way this guy just worked the crowd, the cameras, and everything, I mean, unbelievable. You don't learn that. I'm sorry, you don't learn that.
Yeah, you're born with that. He's got charisma, basically.
You're totally born with that. Sinatra, they reckon that... I remember talking to a former colleague who met Sinatra once at some sort of function, and it was one of those, blimey, I'm meeting Frank Sinatra, and apparently it was almost like, you felt like melting when you met him. So he had so much charisma.
Aura, yeah.
The guy just, buzzed something, and he was quite a big bloke, and I guess, essentially quite a good-looking bloke. I mean, he's obviously a lot older towards the end, but... and apparently it had this something about him that you couldn't couldn't describe it. You couldn't say, oh, it wasn't that he was just good looking or he was just big. It was all of that and something else. It was actually quite scary meeting him, you know, and he said it was like, wow. And it wasn't because you're still filled with the myth that it's Frank Sinatra. It wasn't just that. There was tangibly something there.
Yeah.
It's also
Very strange.
The mafia guys around him pointing guns at you.
That makes the difference. That's when you're grateful to meet somebody, isn't it?
Yeah,
I can well imagine it.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Sinatra.
Just very briefly, going back to Robbie Williams, I have to get this out. It was all very bizarre, right? Because he did a great gig, all his own songs, and then it just turned into this karaoke session. Like, his encore consisted of 5 songs, of which Blur, Song 2, Oasis, Wonderwall, a Tom Jones track.
He likes Tom Jones big time.
And I mean, why was he doing that? It's kind of like
party time, isn't it?
Ran out of songs.
Yeah, talk about losing your credibility, your musical credibility. Doing a load of Oasis.
Where was the gig? Dublin Castle?
Yeah. In Camden Town. Only joking.
Well, it could well be, couldn't it, really? Do you know, I've told you this before, I'm sure. You know Mikey Boy Hansen saw Elvis Presley?
Did he?
When he was about 5.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. His folks took him to see Elvis.
Where? Las Vegas or something?
No, it was somewhere in America, but it wasn't Las Vegas, I don't think.
Well, the gig.
Maybe it was, yeah, a gig, yeah. He said he can actually remember, you know, because you can remember things at that age. He remembers just seeing this guy in this kind of white cat suit, you know,
my God.
singing.
Blimey.
Oh, that's worth knowing. That's worth having that on your little mental CV, really.
Oh, it is.
I saw Elvis Presley. So, Sarah, you've been very quiet over the last few moments.
Did I hear the Baker Boys asking me about my digital system?
Oh, you wanted to get that in, did you?
Yeah.
Very patiently. Yeah, you see. They said, question for Sarah, has your Sky Digital ever crashed or cocked up yet or locked up yet? Or what has, if anything, gone wrong with it?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that they've obviously had something go wrong with theirs.
It crashes once a week.
What, the whole system?
Yeah, the whole system. But it's very easy to reboot. Well, it's basically a computer, so I was informed by the Sky Digital helpline support group person who was counselling me at my loss of Beehive Bedlam at the score of 17,000 when my system crashed. No.
Is that when it crashed?
No, but she was very supportive. No, apparently it is basically a computer, and so sometimes it just gets overheated and it kind of goes and freezes. Just like that. And so you just unplug it and wait for a minute and plug it in again. And it's fine. So there. That's interesting,
to know, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're a digital consultant over there.
Yeah.
Ms. Mulvey.
I'm getting very technological, aren't I?
Technological.
Yeah.
You still got a laptop?
Yes.
Is that all you use?
Yeah.
Is it still that old black and white thing?
No. It's really nice. You've seen my laptop, haven't you?
Yeah, I have actually.
Oh, I've got my new laptop with my little inbuilt modem thing.
You like
It's
it?
very sexy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Just like you, Sarah.
Is it the same size in comparison to your mobile phone, which is...
Antiquated.
Sarah
The
does still walk
wind-up
around with a
one.
mobile phone the size of a breeze block.
1984.
Absolutely right. It really is.
No, it's a nice little one, because it's a note. My thing's a notebook. My notebook computer thing. It is. There you go.
What are you talking about,
I told you I'm technological.
Your what's a notebook?
My computer, my notepad, computer-y thingy is a notebook, not a laptop, so it's very small and
What the hell is she telling us?
Well, you know, you can get laptops.
Is
you
it
can
that
get
little tiny
notebooks.
one?
Yeah.
So you go on the internet on that?
About that big, yeah.
Don't you find that frustrating that it's also tiny and...
No, because I can touch type very fast.
Yeah, but that's not the issue, is it? I mean, you can't do anything about the size of the screen.
It's a new form of snobbery, and no, but it's the typing thing is very close together. New form of snobbery that I've invented in the chat room. Discriminating against those who type slowly, can't spell, or have no grammar.
Really?
Yeah.
But don't you find it frustrating?
What?
Don't you find it frustrating with such a small screen, though?
What?
No, because my screen's actually the size of
No, I mean, when you go on the net, don't you find it frustrating?
Why?
Well,
because visually it's all very tiny, isn't it?
No.
Well, when you log on...
Because I'm watching a little portable TV the size of a matchbox.
I like it.
And what do they cost, those notebooks?
I got a really good deal on mine. Mine was about 850 quid.
Bloody hell, 850 quid?
Yeah.
You can buy a full desktop for that.
I know, but mine's got everything. It's got an inbuilt modem and it's got, you know...
Well, so's a
the whole lot.
desktop.
Yeah, but I just wanted a little one.
You prefer to have a little one?
Yeah, definitely. Well, no, because it's handy for my work, basically. If I'm meant to be going up to, you know, such and such on the train and doing this
Yeah,
and doing
that sort of makes sense.
You don't get out your laptop on the train, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate people who do that. I'd like to slap you. I really do hate people
I play
who do
3D Tetris on the train too. It's great.
I don't care how busy or how much of a showbiz business-like direction
like that on the train?
lifestyle you lead. Do not get out your laptop
No,
on the
but
train.
quite seriously, Pete. I mean, you know, I know it doesn't occur to you at your age, but I actually have to. I actually have to seriously work on a train sometimes. If I'm being sent up to do an interview with someone and I've got
Well, write
an
it down,
hour.
woman.
No, because I've got an hour to prepare something and I just need to think clearly.
Watch it. No, I've never had a problem with somebody with a laptop on a train.
Yeah.
Oh.
A mobile phone on a train, yeah, I'm with you on that. But a laptop, I thought that's the ideal place to do it.
No, it's all that.
What on earth's the point in having a laptop then?
Make a big palaver out of it and setting it up, and I'm sure they tap the keys louder than they need to.
That could be quite a good problem. I'm sure there is definitely a little bit of that going on.
Yeah,
in.
but little
They never
tapping on.
they never seem to be doing anything either. They're just like, you know, I'm sure they're just playing games on them.
Yeah, I am sometimes.
hence.
I've got computer pets. They're great.
Oh, you haven't?
Not as good as a Furby though.
You haven't got one of those,
No, I haven't. I want one though.
Good.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, but people on trains, you know, they read newspapers loudly, you know, crunch. Anyway, you don't want to get me started on trains, men on trains, you know, I've had this before. Should be banned. Should be special carriages for women.
Why?
Who sit with their legs together and their elbows in and don't insist on taking up 95% of the space. Yes.
I must admit, actually, as a bloke, there is, you know how, and I guess it's a little bit of the old doth protest too much syndrome from certain blokes who don't just sit with their legs open.
Absolutely.
Their legs are so wide open, believe me, they could get a job in Hustler any time they want to.
If you tripped and fell, you'd be in trouble.
You know what I mean?
I do.
And I've done this. I've sat next to a bloke when he was on a train or bus,
exactly.
and they won't move their leg at all. It's like that's the way they have to sit.
Yeah.
It's like if I've moved from this position, then for some reason my sexuality might be compromised.
Yeah.
Yeah, oozing testosterone.
Gee, I'm sure there's a bit of that. And you think, how does somebody? Why would you want to sit like that?
No, I don't know.
Crazy crap.
Don't worry, because the days of the female super race are nigh.
Super race? I don't think so.
And you're
Not all the while we give you babies.
Oh, yes, but we don't need you now. We've got electrical impulses.
That's crap. That'll never work.
It's
never
true.
take off.
I saw this very interesting thing, Pete, yeah, about basically get a female, you get an egg out of a woman. And
Listen to this, right? Have you ever heard the like of this, right?
Instead of needing a
You're gonna love
sperm
this.
now to fertilise the egg, you can just expose the egg to an electrical impulse, and something in that electrical impulse causes it to mutate, and it'll always grow into a female child, because obviously it only contains the female sex chromosome, but basically, you know, it's perfectly fine. I mean, they haven't actually done that. That's theoretical. They've done it in animals, but not in humans.
Yeah, you see.
But the same thing. Yes, I can't wait, you know.
I think mutate is the key word there, isn't it?
I think you're right. But what you haven't taken into account... Scary.
Well, how do you think Y chromosomes came about, Ambrose?
Was it electricity?
No, it was a mutation.
Oh.
What you haven't taken into account is that most women won't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm not saying most women do, but it's jolly handy if you know.
It's not jolly handy.
I don't think it is.
It isn't. Not everybody is so emotionally impotent as you, Miss Mulvey. 08700 40 50 60.
On that note.
On that note, yeah. And lots of other things happening. Or you can fax us on 0541 59 69 79. We'll do some more emails and stuff in a second.
What follows is a commercial for AAP. We would like to warn you that certain listeners may be offended. If you've surrendered your endowment policy and you didn't call AAP first, then quite simply you have a large vacuous space between your ears where your brain should be. And this is the sound of someone knocking on your big empty head. Because one phone call to AAP could have earned you thousands of pounds. If your endowment policy started before 1992, AAP could offer you up to 35% more than if you surrendered to the life company. So if you've already surrendered your policy, start to feel angry. But if you haven't, call AAP now for your free brochure and valuation on 0800 064 1967. Absolute Assigned Policies Limited are regulated by the Personal Investment Authority. 0800 064 1967.
Introducing from Australia, Dan Presser of the Sunraysia Natural Beverage Company.
You may have been to Paris, and you may have been to Rome, but have you been down under? It's a long, long way from home. Yet, you all know Aussie Sunshine, and you all know Aussie Sport. And now, Australian Sunraysia Prune Juice will soon be arriving at the port. So if your lifestyle is important, please put Sunraysia to the test. From Australia, clean and green, Sunraysia's the one that will impress. So when you do your weekly shopping, it's only natural to declare, I want my Sunraysia prune juice. So on the shelf, please be there. But if you cannot find Sunraysia, please be patient for a while, because your favourite supermarket will soon have Sunraysia prune juice in the aisle.
You can now find Sunraysia prune juice in the fruit juice aisle of Morrison's stores. 5 pence of your purchase price of Sunraysia 250 millilitre prune juice is donated to the Cancer Research Campaign to support their vital cancer research and education.
Fisherman's Blues, tomorrow morning from 6 on Talk Radio.
Fabulous Baker Boys say, Sarah, so it crashes once a week, does it?
Yeah, mine does.
Yeah, well, they say ours bloody crashes more in times than Michael Schumacher. Do you know who Michael Schumacher is?
He's a racer.
Ooh, well done. A racer.
In a car
That's
thing.
such a girl thing. Yeah. He's a racer. He's a racer, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a racer.
Very exciting.
Very exciting indeed. More of that stuff on its way. Let's get over here to Larry. Larry is in Aberdeen. Larry, how are you doing?
Or
not again.
It's that funny thing.
Is that
but that's
funny,
all right.
funny phone thing?
Judith faxes and says, that's right, Phil Redmond was brought in to revamp Emmerdale. Apparently at the time of the disaster, extras were filmed in Brookside, reading newspapers, carrying stories of the crash.
Oh, thank you, Judith.
I remember that.
That's very clever. I wish I'd seen that moment.
Told you.
Very,
no,
very
did you get that bit?
I think so.
The extras in Brookside had the Emmerdale crash on the newspapers.
Oh, no, I didn't get that bit. Wow.
Postmodern or what?
Blimey.
Yeah.
That is bizarre.
Isn't it?
That is bizarre.
That's good, I like
because
that a lot.
supposedly at the time they were both Phil Redmond Productions, right?
Yeah.
And, yeah. Well, no, Emmerdale's not a Phil Redmond production.
That's the whole point. It was during the crash.
No, but it's not a Phil Redmond production.
Not a production, but, you know.
But he was, was the other Axeman Brian Parks? Yes, it was in... Well, Brian Parks...
yeah.
He was Coronation Street, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And they actually did a, they did something with him in there once, didn't they? Just after he left, they had a scene where Ashley or somebody or whatever was, or when Zoe was going to run off and join a cult, and the name of the cult was the former producer's name backwards. So a bit more sort of postmodernism from the old Granada boys. They love it. So that's good. Blimey, this one's nice and bright from Garth, who's in Huddersfield. Look at that. No, that's a distinct fax.
Lovely.
It says, hello, Ian, Sarah and the creatures. Happy New Year to you all. It's great to have you back. What do you think of Charlotte Dimmock's new Is her name Charlotte? Never thought of her like that. Is it Charlie, isn't it? But Charlotte. Charlotte Dimmock's gardening show, Flying Gardeners, coming on the back of Alan Titchmarsh's Finest Hour, making over Nelson Mandela's outside boudoir. We know she's big on top, but Alan must be thinking she's a little too big for her muddy boots now. But I now have a new toy, i.e. a fax, so be assured I'll be back. Yeah, they went and did Nelson Mandela's garden, didn't they?
Yes.
It was a ridiculous thing to do.
I didn't see it, but yeah.
What was the point of that? Like, you know, Nelson Mandela couldn't afford to get the gardener. Isn't the whole point of those things that people who wouldn't normally have the means, you know, they can do up a garden?
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, let's make a big thing of this.
They just wanted a trip to South Africa.
Do they? I tell you what, I have seen a little bit of, you know, for a bloke that watches TV, there's a little bit of that, that vets thing, those 2 TV vets.
Yeah, what's it called?
They're sent to Africa or something?
Yeah. Yeah, Vets in Practice, whatever it is, Vets in Africa.
I'm always staggered. Have you seen any of that Vets in Africa?
It was on the other night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's on, I think it's been on each night, hasn't it, or something?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Why not?
Why?
I just think it's not particularly well made. The characters don't grip me, and the subject matter's not.
Yeah, I must admit, I was a bit disappointed. But what I'm always staggered about is the amount of doctors or vets who are actually damn good TV presenters.
Yeah.
They're all, I didn't think about that. They're all.
The only thing I can think, I don't know how these. You never ever hear of the recruitment process that takes place. You never hear of. I mean, once in a while, you'll get somebody who is on literally as a guest, and they become. I mean, Alan Titchmarsh, I must admit, when the first time I ever saw Alan Titchmarsh, I swear, was a guest on BBC Breakfast Time. You know, the BBC's early morning, which is now a news programme, isn't it? But it used to be like TVAM or whatever. When old Frank Boff used to present it, and I'm sure the first time I ever saw him was as a guest, this sort of contributor, talking gardening on that programme. I'm sure regionally probably done other stuff. He might have done loads for all I know. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he was like hosting, you know, Pebble Mill variety kind of chat shows.
You know what TV's like? It's like he probably, you know, the producer probably tripped over him on the way into work one morning and thought, you know.
Yeah, but it was another one that. Yeah, but I mean that was kind of before. I mean now they're at the stage where if you can kind of smile right, you're given a talk show.
Yeah.
You know, but this was sort of before then. But what I'm saying is that like Alan Titchmarsh is actually pretty damn good at what he does.
Oh, he's very slick, isn't he?
Very, very slick. And so you think, you know, was he, you know, he's obviously a gardener first, TV presenter second. Did it just come natural, or was he always aiming to do the two? Mark Porter, is he a vet or a doctor? Good-looking young guy, dark hair, sort of quite sparkly eyes.
No, he's not the one on GMTV, is he?
No, that's Hillary Jones.
No, who's the bloke who does the meningitis adverts and various other stuff?
Meningitis adverts?
Yeah.
Oh, I know the one you mean.
No, he's really, really good.
Is that Dr. Mark Porter?
Maybe it's Dr.
Not Dr. You know Hillary Jones, don't you?
I think that's what I'm talking about, is it?
He's about 40?
Yeah, I think so.
That's Dr. Hillary.
It's a bloke, right?
Yeah.
Girls
But I don't think he's so good, actually. I don't think he's the best of the bunch.
He's really good. He's slick.
Mark Porter is a doctor, actually. He's a doctor, not a vet. The vet's another guy. I can't remember who he is. Did you have a vet on Pet Rescue?
We had lots of vets on Pet Rescue, yeah.
Who's the guy with the dark hair?
Oh gosh.
He was on Pet Rescue, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, and I can't think what his name was.
He turns up on there.
Deal with him. Yeah.
I don't know about Charlie Dimmock. I've not really seen her sort of presenting stuff. But it was the other one. But I mean, yeah, and the two vets. Okay. Now, when you look at those two vets, again, you know, if you didn't know they were vets, you'd assume they were just TV presenters. You wouldn't say they're quite bad TV presenters, or they probably do something else. Like, you know, when you watch one of those kind of real people shows where they actually ask the punter to become the presenter, you know, if you turn it on, you don't think what a crap presenter, because you know straight away instinctively that it's obviously a member of the public, if you like, presenting it. Well, these people don't come across like that. So were they always people that wanted to mix the two professions?
No.
Or did the BBC or ITV trawl, you know, surgeries all over the place? Because they're always, common denominator here, you know, a lot of blonde women and dark-haired men going on in this thing.
But the Vets in Practice thing started off, I mean, like, you know, it was the follow-up of Doctors to Be, wasn't it? And BBC never really expected it to be that popular, and in fact it started out on BBC Two before it got such a following that it's moved to BBC One. And the thing was, I mean, they went through the same process as any documentary maker goes when you're trying to make, goes through when you're trying to make a docu-soap. I mean, they were following them through veterinary college, so they, you know, presumably I've done this myself, went along and, you know, interviewed 120 people or whoever was interested and then chose the best. And the thing is that you have to remember those people have been filmed for, like, whatever it is, 5 years or something? And I suppose you just get so habituated to the camera. I mean, I think that's what it's about.
Yeah, I suppose
I mean,
it's
you have to be a certain type of person, but the point
Yeah,
is...
that's
you've
on
got-
that one programme,
Yeah.
but I mean, on a lot of the others, when it's just ordinary GPs they're looking for and stuff. I mean, radio is always used, in fact, way ahead, in fact, when it comes to, celebrity control. I mean, dear old Jimmy Young has had lawyers and doctors on his show for, the last 3 decades, way before daytime TV was even on, not anything else. And, television's had the odd agony aunt here and there, but when it comes to those kind of guests that become celebrities as such, it's been more. It used to be more on the radio in a smaller way, but it was still there.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether I'm just staggering. I've always got that kind of thing about how odd it is that they suddenly give the wheel clamping man from the fly on the wall thing about traffic wardens his own chat show, and I think how ridiculous, because he was crap and quite obviously wasn't cut out to do it, and they were trying to capitalise on something. But when it actually comes to that band of medics, be they animal ones or human ones, they all seem pretty damn good.
I reckon it's something to do with the fact that, I mean, if you're in a profession which deals, with the public on a level where you're kind of basically have to be, you have to be a kind of comfortable orator and confident in imparting your, info, then basically, I mean, lawyers and doctors, a lawyer for a start has got to stand up in court, which is probably very similar to standing up in front of a camera.
Yeah, that makes sense, but doctors are often very introverted when it comes to...
Yeah, there are 2 types, aren't there? GPs,
Yeah, there are.
are 2
That's
types.
true.
There's, Mr. Spectacles and there's, Mr. Tony Blair smile person.
That's true.
Yeah.
But they do quite obviously go for the sort of obviously good-looking ones.
Yeah, it's funny that.
Yeah.
Not that television's an appearance-focused...
No, not at all. But if you look at looking at that vet, the guy, that Mark Porter, Hilary Jones, and even the other vet, the one that's on the, the common denominator is they're all dark-haired, quite sort of sparkly-eyed, sort of, and it's that same... But Mark Porter is the best. Dr. Mark Porter is just fantastic. He's a great presenter. He's a really good, I don't know if he's a good GP. He's not my doctor. And how often do these people actually have their own surgery?
That would be really fun.
Isn't that weird?
But yeah, I mean, for the
whenever they're on things, you hear all these TV, doctors, they say, well, I was telling someone at my own surgery the other day. When do you do that?
Yeah, surely for the likes of Hillary, it's got to be TV's all he does. Surely.
Well, no, because they have a surgery. If you have a surgery, you have a certain amount of patients. So how do you... what arrangement can you come to unless you're totally private?
Yeah.
Yeah, just do...
You can only be private and pick your own
couple of days a week.
Yeah, but doctors' surgeries, I mean, GPs, they have an easy life, if you compare them to hospital doctors. I mean, they do... I used to live with one, and she used to do, 2.5 days a week or whatever. So I think you probably could fit in a media career around that, and it's flexible as well. You can
a lot of doctors have 3,000 or 4,000 patitions on the average GP or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not all presenting at once, and you literally are doing 4 hours on a Monday, 4 hours on a Tuesday, all of Wednesday off. And it's stressful when you're there, but I think it's easy life. Easy life.
I've never heard that about doctors it being an easy. I always thought it was the opposite. It's riddled with hours.
No, it is in hospitals. It's a nightmare. If you work in a hospital, it's an absolute nightmare. But GPs, it's actually... And the money's going up as well recently. There's always stuff, you can opt out.
What's a GP earn now?
Oh, healthy wage.
My ex-flatmate was on 45 and she was 28. So she'd only been in the business for sort of 4 or 5 years. 4 years. No, actually less. What am I saying? No, she was 30, that's right. And she'd been practicing since she was 27.
Blimey, that's a lot.
Not a bad wage.
There's a lot.
She was just a GP?
Yeah, she was subsequently asked to be a partner, but that was,
Yeah. Is that a starting... I mean, is that set by the individual... I mean, does the individual health authority now set that? Is that a government national kind of wage for a GP?
Yeah, what do you start at?
Does it depend on what grade of...
I don't know.
But once you've gone through all your training...
I don't think you start at 45, I have to say.
No, I don't think you do.
But I think it sort of rapidly goes up. I think it starts something like 25, and it rapidly goes up.
I don't think you go...
You get paid per, 1,000 patients, more, don't you?
Something like that. That's why they try. That's why you got all that. You get 5 minutes with your GP, so you more patients and stuff. But I think it does stabilise at some point, because I think that's the thing with GPs, is that, there is a sort of a secure, safe side, if you like, in terms of, I think once you get to a certain level, you...
Yeah, but
unless you specialise or do something slightly different, I don't.
If you become a partner, you're looking at 150 grand, which is not bad.
Oh yeah. And the other
business,
one, so you earn a fortune. Dentists.
Yeah.
An absolute damn fortune.
Boring job, though.
Bloody dentist. Who want to do that job? Anybody can be a dentist. I would advise anybody to do their own teeth. I'd advise anybody to do your own teeth. There is nothing difficult about being a dentist whatsoever. In fact, I was into somebody the other day talking about this thing you can buy in America where you do your own fillings.
Oh, my...
Oh, you fill for the cavity,
no.
you buy this stuff, and you whack it in there like that.
Can you imagine that?
And
Sure
you don't have any drills or anything like that. It's just the like toothpaste stuff. Put it in your mouth, fill the hole. And away you go. It's so expensive out
When
there.
you look at it like that, then what is that drilling they do there?
Well, the thing we never know how to work out about dentists, right, okay, if you've got, like, general practitioner, GP, so you go for every part of your body, okay, to a GP, all right, anything in there, you've got something in your eye, something in your ear, your head itches, your winkle's about to drop off, your legs are bad, you know, you got all sorts of things going on. Everything apart from your teeth.
Everything.
What's all that about?
Yeah.
Why is it that this GP that's so anatomically geared up in every other area?
Yeah, jack of all trades, master of none.
But unfortunately, you know, head, eyebrows, nose, lips, chin. Let's miss the mouth out.
I suppose eyes is the other thing.
Yeah, but they still do bits of eyes. They look in it with the old torch.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, they do little bits and pieces.
Can't
there.
touch teeth.
But teeth, yeah, it's just the damn easiest job. The last time I went to the dentist, this thief of a dentist that I have, this bloke, the man who sits there, you know, with his drill in one hand and, believe me, a calculator doing your bill in the other. This man, you do realise it's going to cost you £38.20 if you have the full filling. Oh, you know, there's lots of that happening. And so, and I was talking to him and he was saying that I think it's longer to qualify as a dentist than it is as a doctor. Because you actually do a lot of general practice to train as a dentist, you go through a lot of the rigmarole that you would as a doctor. Then you've got to do...
specialism, then?
Yeah, I think it is. Then you do the other stuff on top. So there's very few things. So I think it takes... I think he said about 7 years to fully go through it.
Really? I'll be very surprised if it's that long.
Well, because they can't get any. If you're a qualified dentist, they can work anywhere you want. Can't get any. Can't get any. I don't think it's 8 years, actually. You just can't find them. Because nobody wants to do... You know, people leave... You know, we're in a very fast world now, aren't we? You know, it's like, how quick can I get into the workplace? I have debts, I have this. I don't want to spend 7 or 8 years in education. No matter how much it might pay off in the future, it seems at the time like a flipping... Forever. And he said they can't... He said, we're always looking for dentists. Can't find them anywhere.
Yeah.
But what a job. I mean, what a smelly, dirty, horrible... Ugh.
Halitosis.
Can you imagine it? No wonder they wear a mask.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle that.
It's yeah, it's horrible. Absolutely horrible. One of the worst jobs, I think.
Yeah. Oh, well, never mind. It's 08700 40 50 60.
To me, it means the opportunity to learn about someone else's life.
I think without our help, she could so easily die.
She's recently received a new supply of books.
And when I think of the opportunities that our children have in this country, I think it's really good to be able to give that to other children in other countries too.
It's just really satisfying.
It's really rewarding. Sponsorship saves lives.
For £15 a month, I can help change the life of a child in the third world. Or I can go and watch United lose a game.
I spend £4 a week trying to lose weight at a slimming class.
Child sponsorship means so many things to different sponsors. But to a child in the developing world, it means one thing above all, a future full of hope and opportunity. For just £15 a month, you can become a child sponsor. Call World Vision now on 0800 50 1010 for a child sponsorship information pack. That's 0800 50 1010.
I think it's probably the most personally rewarding way of helping people overseas.
This week on the only programme which grills its subjects on both sides, with me, Peter Hitchens, on the right.
And me, Sean Simon, sitting in for Austin Mitchell on the left.
Is there really any point in hounding old Nazis when we can't even catch our own criminals?
Have the Tories swung so far to the right that they've fallen off the planet?
Was the Great Millennium just a huge fake orgasm celebrating nothing?
And are Britain's defences safe in Labour's hands?
Of course they aren't.
Of course they are.
On Sunday morning at 10.
Only on Talk Radio.
Hello, I have a suggestion. Go away.
Voice of the common man.
welcome back to our happy little party, and things are going on here you should be aware of. Hey. We'll do some more faxes and stuff in a second. This is Jenny in Newport. Hello, Jenny.
Hiya.
How you doing?
I just wanted to talk about the Mannix gig.
Yes.
Because I went to the Mannix gig, and it was about... I saw the Mannix, and then afterwards, we thought we'd take a stroll along to the bar, because you were talking about the bar earlier. And even if you, like, wanted to go to the bar, you really didn't want to go then, because, like, we went up, and we paid a tenner for a pint, and it was £6 for a pint.
£6 a pint?
Yeah.
I can imagine that.
£6. So, and was it easy to get there?
Oh, no, it's because, like, I only went to see the Mannix, and then after they'd finished, I just thought, me and my friends just thought, oh, we'll just stroll along to the bar and, like, have a few drinks, but it was £6 a pint. Because I gave her a tenner, and I was expecting, like, I don't know, a £5 note and change, and I got, like, £4 change.
God, I've been really cut up about that.
You were a bit of a Richie James Edwards fan, weren't you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you talking about it. Did you go to the gig when he was still in the Mannix or not?
No, I'm a bit young for that, because I'm only, like, 19 now.
Was there like a big like party thing after the Mannix, or was that it? Was it just a concert, or did they make more out of it?
Well, at midnight they kind of stopped, and there was like really a letdown, really, because there were these two people singing.
So they weren't playing when midnight came in.
No, they had this like countdown thing.
Yeah.
And it was really...
What, Richard Whiteley and all that?
And they came back on for an encore?
No, it was just like they sort of stood at the back, and then there was like this countdown thing, and they were like just messing around when the countdown was on, and then it was like midnight, and then they started playing again, and it was like...
And what happened after they finished playing?
It was like a little break for like 5 minutes, and then all these DJs came on.
You sell it really well, Jeff.
We wish we were there.
Yeah.
No, but I only went to see the Mannix. I didn't go for like the DJs or anything, so I left after the Mannix, after we went to the bar.
Was it worth going, though?
Yeah.
Was it worth going?
Oh, yeah. It was definitely worth going. But, like, they played Barrett when they played at Cardiff, like, the year before. They were much better then, and it was, like, much more exciting, because they did, like, old stuff, but it was just that they were doing, like, all the stuff from their new album.
Yeah.
And all these people there who, like, weren't really into Mannix, but they just thought they'd go along for a laugh.
Did they play Masses Against the Classes?
Yeah.
Which is a truly rubbish song.
I quite like that song.
Is that the one, If You Tolerate This? No.
No, it's the new one, the new single. It's supposed to be going all punk rock, but really it just, it just doesn't make it.
I doubt that very much.
No, seriously, that's the tag behind it all.
Load of rag.
I know.
So I'm not eating really, Jenny. So you didn't get drunk?
Pardon?
You didn't get drunk?
Well, I was drinking before, because we caught the train, and then we were drinking on the train, and then we got there. I've never seen so many people in my entire life.
Really?
And but we got right to the front of the queue, and so we were waiting at the front like all day. And then when we got in, it was just like we managed to get drinks in, but then when we ran out, and then after the Mannix finished, we went to the bar, and we had like this like really watery pint, which was like in a plastic glass, and we paid £6 for it.
That's disgusting. And it was crap beer.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Jenny.
Thanks a lot.
See you later.
Bye.
08700 40 50 60.
She must be fun when she's enjoying herself.
That's your representation of the Mannix fan club there. That's your average Mannix fan, I think. We go to Gloucester. Eric, hello, sir.
Hello. You see her as being a wee bit cavalier when she says all these GPs...
Having a whale of a time, you lot.
I'm not a GP.
Oh, you're not? All right. You're married to one?
No, I used to be a medical journalist. So I know a wee bit about the trade. And a few statistics might be in order.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, about a third of them are on their own. They're a single practice. The reason that your friend, your flatmate, can swan around is that she's probably in a group practice somewhere.
Yeah, she is.
All right, so, well, that makes life a lot easier, doesn't it? I mean, how would you like to do 7 to 10 years before you even get into the job? And then when you do, you work round the clock, and not make that much money.
I'm not sure I buy that. I mean, you're the medical journalist, but I mean, she for a period, she worked for the government for a while actually, and then she what's it called when you do that substitution stuff? You know, you go in and just do a surgery cover. I can't remember. Locum. Sorry, yeah. She was a locum for the first time, sort of when she was about 29 or something. She had finished one job and was waiting to start another, and she thought that locum work's going to be really difficult to find. You know, there's so hard to get and everything, and she was absolutely inundated. She advertised in a few places. Our phone rang off the hook.
All right, no.
And she was getting paid such good money to do like surgeries of like 2 hours, you know, a day.
Sarah, you somebody who lambasts anybody who treads on your toes, here you are bashing into another profession with only a fraction of the facts. The reason there's so many locums is that there should be about 40,000 GPs in the country, but there's about 35,000. There's a shortage. People don't want to go into it. They come out of medical school and they don't want to do it.
I can believe that, but it doesn't mean that it's not good for the GPs who've got into it.
Well, up to a point. Here's how it works, okay? You've got to have at least 1,500 patients on your list.
Yeah.
And just for having them on your list, you get a $5 a head.
Exactly. Even though they moved out of your district about 10 years ago.
There's dead patients that don't exist anymore, but there's also the ones who are a real pain in the bum. You know, they walk in, and there's a word that doctors have for it. They call it the heart sink patients, because they come in every week, and there's always something wrong with them. I'm surprised you haven't had a bunch of calls from guys who are up all night. I mean, some of them still do that. I mean, there are real... There are real stories to be had here, and you know, you cavalier and sort of saying, you know, one person and she's having a whale of a time. The average GP, right, here's how it works. He runs his own business. He's a private business. Okay.
Lots of freedom. You can take holidays when you like.
Let the man speak. Hasn't got a word out yet.
Look, somebody like
Eric, I'm with you on this.
Somebody like Mark Porter, who actually lives about 10 miles from me here.
Coward.
Yep.
Right? He does okay because he goes in a few days a week in a group practice where there's about 8 of them.
Yeah.
And they all agree to see each other's patients.
Ah, right. Okay.
All right. Now, a group practice can also have the 1 or 2 secretaries working for all of them. So it's sort of like a little small, medium to sized business.
Yep.
But the third who work on their Todd, they have to, all right, they get a $5 a head for the minimum of 1,500 they're supposed to take on, and they can go up to as many as you say, about 3,000. But they've got to buy their own premises.
And diddums. Give me another profession, Eric, where someone can, you know, you tell me about...
Hang on, Eric's in the middle of telling us a story here.
What case do you want to make, Sarah?
Well, your nightmare patients that they have that, you know, waste their time, which obviously does go on. I mean, I'm the last person to say that the public aren't, you know, a lot of them aren't a nightmare. But the point is that GPs have the right to get rid of people. They can just, without any reason, without giving you any reason at all, can bar you from coming to their practice. They don't have to give you a reason.
That's another argument, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, this is a profession where they create their own laws.
Eric, tell me, Eric, in your experience, what the average GP in this country would earn.
Well, between 40 and 60,000. But out of that, he's got to pay for his secretary, his premises, all sorts of this and that. So he might, for a day that's probably about 20 hours a day, he might clear about half of that 60,000.
Well, why don't you see Mark Porter at the BBC so often? That's probably explains it, really, doesn't it?
God, 30 grand, that's difficult to survive on.
Well, you're going like, what are you, 24? You've done some TV shows, you're a media type person, and you swan around going, and I've been in London and I've met media journalists, and the point is, you're going, 30 grand, how much white powder can I buy for that? I mean, that's
don't
not
insinuate that.
Well, that's not how it works for somebody who does a real job. Somebody who gets up, you know, and actually cares for people, some of them, it's a big question whether if they make the wrong decision, they can now get caned for it. Everybody's on their case. Everybody's giving them a hard time. And you want to say, it's nothing.
No, I mean, I'm not saying it's a fun job at all, but I'm just saying that I'm sorry, but I don't buy. I mean, you know, the point is that we should be bothered in this country for the doctors at hospitals who are doing, you know, the medical students who are doing, like, you know, 150 hours a week or whatever. You know, I'm sorry, but my heart does not bleed for GPs. It bleeds for people in hospitals who are endangering children's lives, who are endangering patients' lives in general, because they're being overstretched and underpaid. And GPs do not come into that area.
Step back a bit, Missy, because my nephew works in a hospital as a doctor, so I happen to know that side as well. The point is, the patients don't get into the hospitals. Imagine somebody wakes up in the middle of the night, terrible pain, calls on the GP. The GP has to decide at that point whether to send the guy in or not. And if there's nothing wrong with him, he'll get the ribbing from the hospital for sending in somebody for a referral in the middle of the night, collection and treatment, who doesn't really merit it. On the other hand, if he calls it wrong, if he says, take 2 aspirins, go back to bed, you'll be okay, and the guy croaks the next day, he'll be plastered all over the newspapers.
Okay, Eric, stay where you are a second, because we've got to hit the news. It's 08700 40 50 60.
My name's Glenn. I'm an insurance salesman from Manchester. Been a bit of a lad, you know, but now I reckon it's time to settle down. But to be honest with you, I don't know where to begin, and I'm not very good at chatting up birds.
Talk Radio Matchmaker is the easiest way for Talk Radio singles to meet new people. Just tell us the kind of people you'd like to meet, and let the MatchLink system go to work. Enroll in Talk Radio's Matchmaker free of charge now on 0808 100 1089 in complete privacy. Call Talk Radio's Matchmaker today and let us help you find your perfect partner. 0808 100 1089.
Now, all the way from Australia and the Sunraysia Natural Beverage Company, here's Grandma Ruby.
They seek him here, they seek him there. Grocery shoppers seek him everywhere. No one knows from whence he came. No one dares to say his name. But when their lips begin to pucker, everyone shouts, the prune pit plucker. The prune pit plucker and his little elves are putting Sunraysia prune juice on grocers' shelves. So when you are ready for prune juice to buy, why not give Sunraysia a try?
A 250ml serving of Sunraysia prune juice is an excellent source of the antioxidant vitamin C and dietary fibre. Now you can help Sunraysia raise £250,000 for the Cancer Research Campaign. Look for the new logo of the Cancer Research Campaign on every bottle of Sunraysia prune juice. 5 pence of your purchase price of Sunraysia 250ml prune juice is donated to the Cancer Research Campaign to support their vital cancer research and education. Sunraysia prune juice is now available from Morrison stores.
Across the UK, from the Sky News Centre, this is Talk Radio Headline News.
Beckham fouls up in Brazil. Panic over poisoned shirts and making way for Blair's baby. Good morning, it's 4 o'clock. I'm Amanda Goodman. David Beckham will be banned for Manchester United's next Group B game against Vasco da Gama and could also miss the tie with South Melbourne. The suspension follows his sending off in the 1-1 draw against Necaxa in United's opening match in the World Club Championship in Brazil. Beckham was dismissed for a high tackle. Talk Radio's Graham Beecroft watched United reduced to 10 men.
He's being called away now, David Beckham, by the referee. This is a tense moment here. He is going to be off. It's red and David Beckham is off, and that is an absolute disaster for Manchester United. It really is an absolute disaster. I think Beckham might have followed through, but certainly Beckham is off the field.
A controversial report out today says breast cancer screening is a waste of time. 2 Danish researchers reckon claims that mammography screening can reduce the risk of death by as much as a quarter aren't true. Delith Morgan from Breakthrough Cancer told Sky News the findings are inaccurate.
What they're doing is they're looking at old data and reinterpreting it, which is very important for academic purposes. But in terms of managing a sensible service for women in the UK, it doesn't help.
Sports good manufacturer Nike has asked buyers not to panic following German TV reports that some of its football shirts are laced with a toxic chemical. Tributyltin, or TBT, is used on the bottom of boats, but is also used to kill bacteria and quell the stench of excessive sweating. Tests show it can cause mutations in marine snails and neurological problems in humans. The Chancellor Gordon Brown is reported to have offered to move out of his Downing Street flat to make room for the new Blair baby. Mr Brown and the Blairs agreed to swap homes after the last election. The flat in number 10 could be used for a nanny. Talk Radio Sport and England's one-day cricket squad have flown out to South Africa to join up with the rest of the touring party. They're due to play in Port Elizabeth on Sunday in a 3-day match against a South Africa 11 first. Those are the top stories in the Sky News Centre. The weather: storms for the northwest of Britain and Ireland this morning. Heavy driving rain across Ireland and Scotland will lead to difficult travel conditions. The south of England will start cold and grey but soon brighten up. Lows of 2 Celsius, 35 Fahrenheit in Brighton, 7 Celsius, 44 Fahrenheit in Durham. Talk Radio News Time, it's 3 minutes past 4.
This is And the creatures of the night.
I can't understand it, right? I was like, I don't get it. Well, now I've got half a face. I don't get it.
You people are loony. You people have lost it. Hit him harder. Go on, smack him one. Put him on his back. Put him on his back. Go on, that's what I want to see.
However, my books take second place when it is late at night and I'm feeling raunchy because I wind up listening to Ian Collins and Pete. Bracket, how about a threesome?
I bet you're as rough as old boots, Angela.
You're unbelievable.
I've slept with 3 page 3 models, which is slightly different.
I envy it.
Well, with all respect, I think you're the biggest arse I've spoken to, so goodbye.
Hello. What's your name, Ian?
Yes.
Are you really that stupid to think that you could get into a ring with Mike Tyson?
You silly boy.
No, you're the silly boy.
You are such a fool. If I was next to you, I'd rip your head off.
Come on.
You're unbelievable.
Ian Collins and the creatures of the night.
Look, jerky, I don't need to talk to you.
Brace yourself.
Voice of the common man. Hero of the homo.
Absolutely. You got a fax there, Sarah?
I have. I've got a fax. Yep. I have got another one from the Colonel, and he says, Ian, I'm completely sick, definitely, of all these ambulance chasers, the docu-soap programs. If I wanted ordinary folk to entertain me, I'd buy Fred the Road Sweeper a bottle of whiskey and wait for it to take effect. All these morbid programs show is that we are a nation of hypochondriacs.
Is that right?
It is.
All right, I was just trying to work out how many has he sent.
Yes. I've got 3 here, I think, all from him, but I'm not sure. Do you reckon that's the same? I reckon it might be.
Oh, I don't know, maybe. I can't believe you're saying GPs have an easy life. Rubbish. Who's this to? It doesn't say to anybody. It's always polite to start off the fact saying to, because it shouldn't be to Ian, because I didn't say that. Sarah said it should be to Sarah.
I didn't say that. It's, again, an example of people not listening.
My mother is a GP, as are close friends. She leaves home at 8:30 a.m., gets home about 7 p.m., then they have calls, and are quite often woken at 7 a.m. to go to patients who might have just got a cold, but the doctor will still turn up. This last week she had flu and still had to go to work because of the rush after bank holiday. She used to work Saturday mornings, and most GPs do. A family with 2 GPs and 3 kids, I know, do extra hours at the medical centres, so I don't think wages increase much over what your flatmate received. Most GPs get 1 afternoon off a week, but also have paperwork to do, and will offer emergency slots every day, which increase hours. I don't want to make them sound like saints, but to be fair, for human beings, they work bloody hard and will be offended by you suggesting they have an easy life, says Anne in Manchester. It's a very generic you've got there, Anne. You know, it's like, who? It came through on a Talk Radio fax machine. There's 27 people here.
Can I answer that one about you saying that there's an easy lifestyle?
Come on.
Well, basically, I'm not saying they have an easy lifestyle, an easy job. What I'm saying is that there's a difference between content of job and lifestyle. I mean, the content of a job as a television producer or as someone who works in the media or whatever may well be much lighter weight than having to deal with, sick people and have the kind of expertise that a GP has. But the point that I was making, and this is something that was backed up only by my experience of my flatmate and her friends who are doctors, is that it does afford you a nice lifestyle, both financially, being a GP, this is, both financially and in terms of, if you're working for the right practice in the right area, obviously, with all those type of, things happening for you, that you can have a very nice time outside your work, which is very heavy duty and which has a lot of responsibility.
So, in fact, what you're saying is that some GPs have a good lifestyle and don't have to work as hard as others.
I'm saying that most that if you
you did tend to make a sweeping statement
absolutely.
that GPs have a nice lifestyle.
Well, compared to hospital doctors...
poor things, you know, they only work a couple of hours a week.
Compared to
they were the kind of work you were churning out on national radio.
And compared to hospital doctors, that is irrefutably true. You know, GPs do not work 100-hour weeks.
I have to defend Sarah because she did defend herself at first by saying that exactly that compared to hospital doctors, didn't she?
You added that in as a kind of a rider afterwards, but what I'm saying is that you know, if you're regularly at the hospital, not every hospital doctor is doing 100 hours a week. Very few doctors are now having to do those hours, although a lot of junior doctors are still notching up in that direction. But I mean, you know, you can look at them as two different jobs if that's what you know the point you want to make.
I mean, but I think there's also the difference, as I keep saying, between the quality of job, the job experience, as it were, and what that job allows you in terms of flexibility of hours, in terms of holidays, in terms of money, in terms of, you know, the freedom to move around the country and take up a practice here or a practice there, you know.
Now, what I'm saying is, if you're going to come onto this show and talk a lot of crap, and believe me, you know, you can come in here a couple of times a week when you're not floating around in your Ponzi TV director role, that's fine.
With my laptop.
With your laptop and whatever else, and you were even accused of being a druggie by the last caller.
It's terrible.
And I've scratched my head on that one, I must admit. But the point is, if you're going to come in here and make unqualified comments like that, and it was unqualified, it was totally insulting to people who spend their days and their nights working very, very hard for people like you, and you would soon call one if you were ill. You're the first person down there. If you've got an itch or a scratch or a rash, then I will say to you now, don't bother opening your mouth again on this show, or don't bother walking in those doors again. I've known you for a long time, Sarah, and I'm damn annoyed that you should insult GPs in that way.
I'll stand corrected.
Thank you very much indeed. Any chance of it? 08700 40 50 60.
Barnes, and I work with the aid agency World Vision. I want you to think of the worst humanitarian crises you've seen on your TV. Images of starving children in Ethiopia, of the killing fields of Cambodia, of genocide in Rwanda and ethnic cleansing in former Yugoslavia. Many of us gave to the emergency appeals, but have you ever wondered what happens when the TV film crews leave and the people affected become yesterday's news? World Vision responded to all these emergencies, but we also stayed and put in place long-term programs to help people rebuild their lives. Often we do this with government grants, but mostly it's through the support of ordinary people who commit to sponsoring a child. Sponsorship helps an individual child, and it enables us to carry out vital development work in their community, like providing clean water and improving healthcare and education. I see this happen, and I know it works. Please sponsor a child today. Just call 0800 50 1010 for an information pack. That's 0800 50 1010.
Degsy in the morning, weekdays from 9. I know very well that I wouldn't want to stay alive. That would be a living hell for me, that. So surely I've got the right to say at that moment in time I want a machine switched off.
We must not have the right to kill somebody.
Well, I mean, nobody wants to kill someone.
I hate to tell you, this is happening to people who are not even seriously ill, let alone terminally ill.
Degsy in the morning, weekdays from 9 on Talk Radio.
Nigel, the night porter. It says, Derrien, Pop-Up, Pete, Ambrose, and gorgeous Sarah. So you always get gorgeous.
What's wrong with that?
You're the most hideous one amongst us. That's what I don't understand. How does that work? Speaking of Phil Redmond Productions, I was watching an episode of Brookside in which Jackie and another character were in Chester. As they were walking across a footbridge, they passed two extras who just so happened to be two of Hollyoak's main characters. Ooh, how weird is that? Keep up the good work. We make the nights pass. I did have other information which has been removed from my screen without being asked whether I'd read it or not.
What was that?
It was detail about the fact that the Emmerdale plane crash is going to be on
Granada Plus.
Granada Plus next week.
Next week.
You have to come round and watch my Sky Digital.
We'll all go around Sarah's house and watch it. Have you got a fax there?
Well, it depends. Do you want me to read out another?
Oh, that one.
Yes. This one. Oh, yes. Peter Glover. He says, Happy New Year to you all. I've been working away for quite a while, and it is a nice surprise to find you're still there. Could you bring me up to speed on what's happening with you all and certain callers? The last show I heard was where your dad... Yeah. some bloke had a wart removed and something, yes. And Roger from Bristol on Eilish, he wants to know what happened to. Please let me know you got this fax. Yes, we did.
Roger called us this week. He called us 2 days ago.
He did, yeah.
Eilish hasn't called us since before Christmas.
2 weeks now, 3 weeks.
Last millennium.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't heard from in Eilish this century. Which is an outrage, really.
Terrible state of affairs.
Yeah. 08700 40 50 60. We've got other detail as well on the email. What's that noise?
Prisoner. What noise? It was the prisoner. That's the gas.
Was it? Oh, it was the gas, was it? Yeah.
Oh, we'll lose it now. Perfect.
Yeah. Sarah.
I have another fax.
You have an email.
An email, that's right. Daniel is talking about New Year's Eve jobs worth. Sorry, he can tell us something that happened in Peterborough on New Year's Eve. Peterborough isn't a small town, it's not a backwater or anything, but that's the impression visitors would have got. New Year's Eve, loads of us gathered in Cathedral Square, right in the centre of the city, underneath a big clock. And at 11 o'clock, the Jobsworth Council switched the Christmas lights off. That was their sole contribution to the end of the century. They didn't have a bloke on a podium starting the countdown. There was nothing.
They switched the lights off at 11?
Yep. And the police tried to arrest someone for letting off fireworks. Sounds like a really joyful place to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Crazy. Dear Monsieur Collins, says Andy, voice of the common geezer, please could you try and sort out the old chat room, as I've been trying to get, I've been getting Jack out of the thing all night. Keep up the good work and tell it like it is. Yeah, what's up with the chat room? We don't know. I mean, we can't sort it out from this end. So is it not working tonight?
We'll have to consult the administration team.
We'll have to get to the administration team and find out what's happening there. This one comes from Rick, I do believe, who says, having nothing else to do but build websites, I thought I'd let you know that not only do the chat rooms not work, the images on the site don't load correctly, and finally, you have viewed this particular... have you viewed this site, particularly the freaks section? Yeah, I can't believe you agree to this. Not even James Well would go that far. Shame on you. I thought you were cool. Are you serious?
Even James Whale?
I think you must be on the winder.
Oh, the freak section has the,
It's not up yet, I don't think.
Some of it is. The weird genitalia is up.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen it.
Have you not seen that?
I haven't seen that.
Is it a mutant carrot?
It's mutant balls.
Yeah. And we got the bit with all the weird talk radio presenters on. That's what he got now, because they're all not here.
God, that was about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was up there for 2 decades.
Really? No. That was good, that was.
That wouldn't be the freaks get... Well, maybe it would, yeah. No, we're on about the freaks, actual free elephant man and midgets and hairy people. You never clicked onto it?
No, I haven't.
Freaks.
I'll have a look.
The Creature Freak Gallery.
I haven't seen that one.
How can you have gone onto the new website? It's been there like months and not seen the banner freaks.
Yeah, I've seen it, but I'm sure it wasn't up at the time I looked at it.
No, it hasn't. Yeah, but this has got little bits up there now.
Oh, right.
Well, there's some odd facts in there. I don't know what they're doing in there, but...
I'll check it out.
Yeah, but there's loads of other stuff to go on.
Groovy.
And it will be on shortly. And we look forward to that. Tell us again where to find the camera on your website, says Sexy Dara in Ireland. Or is it Larry? We don't have a camera on our website. That's why you can't find it. Tell us again, we don't have one. There is no webcam on our site. Damn Wood, hello. Just to let you know that your chat page has been hit by the Millennium Bug. Your date says January the 7th, 3,900.
We're post-apocalyptic.
Also, any chance of giving our free website a plug? It's a free mag for house and garage music fans with DJ charts, reviews and much more. All done for free and no profit made. Well, we normally check out sites before we...
Got to check it out
before we actually give them a plug. But this one looks all right. It's mirable.8m.com.
Oh, I've come across that one.
I think I have.
Yeah.
Why have I come across that?
That's quite a big site, that is.
Mirable... yeah, Dan does.
Blimey, that's like a big site, I think.
Mirable.8m.com. It's non-profit making, and it's a damn good site if you're into that kind of music.
That kind of thing.
Which is fine. You were cold earlier, now you're taking your top off. You're actually very different with your top off. Well, not your top, your cardigan.
Do I?
Yes. And Pete having a good old gawk. Stand up a second. Stand right up. Take your cardigan off.
No.
Just so we can all see, more of you.
No.
You do look a very different kind of person.
A lot more girly, yeah.
Yeah, you do. You look like quite a sexy little chick.
Yes.
With your bits off like that.
I'm not a chick, or a hen, or a...
Bird.
Bird of any description.
What is your endearing kind of,
I beg your pardon?
When talking females in the vernacular, what do you prefer?
Madam.
That's what most of my clients call me. I don't know. What would I call people? I don't know. I suppose girls is the least patronising, although it's sometimes patronising.
Girls?
Yeah.
You are one.
No, I'm not. I'm a woman.
A woman?
I'm not a girl.
It's only because it's got man at the end of it.
Yes.
Whoa, man.
It's from the Hebrew, isn't it?
So you don't like chick?
No.
Why?
Because it's demeaning.
It's not demeaning. It's so funny. I couldn't even have an opinion on that. You know, when someone calls you a bloke or a geezer, I just think that, you know...
Yeah, but that's not patronising. That's exactly my point, okay?
Well, chick's not patronising.
No, it is.
Sorry, the Americanism, which is an Americanism, by the way, it's not really a kind of a British thing, is an endearing name.
It's not endearing. The point is that women always get
guys and girls
named after sort of little sort of animals, little furry animals.
We are little animals. You're little furry animals.
Birds of some description or whatever.
Oh, what's wrong with you?
It just, I mean, when a bloke's ever called anything like that, you know, guy doesn't have any guy and geezer, and that's nothing to do with like patronising little kind of inanimate, you know, well not inanimate, but animate, but very stupid animals.
There's only chicks and birds.
Yeah, and then you think of all the names for female genitalia as a similar thing. It's always animals.
Is it? I was trying to think of one.
What's animals? It's not an animal. If I saw one of those walking around on four legs, I'd buy one.
Oh.
I do.
I despair of you.
Oh, that'd be great. I'll have a tin of beans, please, and half a pound of...
Yes.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be strange? So, there's loads of... Look at all the names for male bits.
Yeah. Name me one male bit that is sort of seriously comparing the genitalia to an animal.
Me? Donkey?
No, come on. I mean, yeah, but that is a hung like a
simile.
Donkey is A, a simile, and B, it's a very what's the word?
The inaccurate
favourable
statement.
Yeah, it's inaccurate, obviously, but favourable one.
Well, it's not really. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Being compared to a creature with a long tail that swims in a river.
It's not the same for a woman, is it? You know, there's no kind of credibility in, you know, God blimey, if you see it like a graveyard, mate, you know, it doesn't happen in the same way.
Yes.
Garden gates open again, but, you know, it's not exactly the same thing. That would be, you know, low. But no, I mean, the fact that there is an animal connection, and it is tenuous for you to suggest there is, because, you know, birds and chicks, I mean, that's it. Out of ladies, women, girls, gals, I don't know, you know, whores, or whatever, you know, whatever phrase you choose to use, there are many. And I mean, the fact that birds and chicks happen to be there, and the one female in terms of genitalia that you can think of, the one animal, and there is only one.
I can think of several animals, actually.
What?
Oh, yeah, there's two. I can think of two.
I don't think of one.
There's the one from the Naked Gun sketch when she's up the ladder.
Yeah, there's another one which...
And then, of course, there's the cat.
Yes, yes. Give me a while, I'm sure I can think of at least 100 others.
There's not. There's not. I mean, look, guys have many. Your old fella, your old chap, bit of old Jake. You know, I mean, what's that all about?
Yeah, but it's not animal, is it?
What should be problem with animals? Is it nicer to be animals?
It's demeaning.
Why is it demeaning?
It just is.
Why?
Have you any respect for animals?
Intellectualise that statement. You can't.
How can you say that to the director of Pet Rescue?
That's true. You can't, though, can you? You've got a big spot on your chin, by the way.
Thank
you.
No relevance whatsoever.
No, I just thought I'd have to say that.
Yeah. I've got several.
What?
Spots.
Have you?
Yeah.
I'm going for the Dalmatian look, actually.
Is that right?
Yes.
Another animal, you see?
It's not big.
It's not big, no. It's just a little tiny one. But it'll get big over the next couple of days. You wait. 08700 40 50 60. It's Ian Collins and the Creatures of the Night, which include Pete, Ambrose, and top chick, Sarah Mulvey, which is nice.
Yes.
Which was nice. So there. So don't get worried about it, you know.
I'll try not to.
I think it's all down. I don't think it's not the semantics of it. It's the intonation, I think, that's important. And that makes all the difference.
Yeah, sure. But it's usually pejorative.
Yeah, but if, I mean, you know, like, as you know, in the same way as, you know, some people can swear and actually make it sound funny and never sound offensive. You know, there are people who can use all those sort of colloquialisms and actually, you know, always sound endearing. and nice, like me, for example.
Absolutely.
I phone you up in the afternoon, you know, when we have those sexy conversations, and you know the ones?
Yes.
And I'm never offensive, and you never take any offence.
No.
Yeah, you see, that's made you go very quiet. Yeah. We had a good conversation on the phone about Young today, didn't we?
We did.
It's very nice indeed.
Always young at
And
heart.
you learnt something from me there, didn't you?
Absolutely.
That you didn't know.
Didn't know.
Yeah, you see. I sometimes wonder which one of us went to university, Sarah Mulvey.
I know. It's appalling, isn't it?
It's appalling. Anyway, we've got film detail coming up, Sarah.
We have.
With Ambrose Heron.
Yes, the film reviewer person. I was trying to think of what it was called, your classic, what's it called? That
Film
thing.
detail.
Yes.
Slick, Sarah.
Cult classic.
Yeah, cult classic.
Cult classic.
Yes, I almost had the wrong word there. Yes, that's what I wanted to hear about.
That's what we've just been talking about.
Yes, it confused me.
You know how to tease a feature, don't you?
You do, eh?
That's not all.
You old throw-forward goddess, you. 08700 40 50 60 is our number.
It's time to go screenless.
Hello, Talk Radio. 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 Where we just hit the phones and we find out exactly what's at the other end, because you never know what kind of folk might be lurking at the other end, you see. That's the beauty of this entire experiment in a kind of a strange way. Hello?
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 Hi. Can you tell Sarah to stop being so anal? What is wrong with her? Someone put her down.
Sarah, stop being so anal.
She's
What is wrong with you?
Embarrassed. She makes me embarrassed to be female.
Me
My
too.
God,
Me
she's
too.
just like,
I'm going to become a bloke.
Do you like being called a chick?
what, I don't mind. It's not that offensive. Come on.
No, it's not that offensive, but I think, if we can talk them out of it, it's worth a go.
Oh.
Do you not think?
I'm going. Goodbye.
Gone.
Just
Cheap in auction.
08700 40 50 60. Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hello. He's on a different time now. A friend who's on at the moment, our presenter, isn't he? Ian?
Yeah, he's on starting at 1, you mean?
Yes, and I used to hear him more often. By the way, I was rather disappointed, and that's why I'm just phoning in. I didn't like the way he spoke to this young lady, Sarah, regarding GPs. She obviously must know something, and Ian should know that a lot of people are struck off with children, and it can be quite unfair. So do tell Ian that that's the only time that I can ever criticise him, the way he spoke to Sarah. Okay, then.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 08700 40 50 60. No, you see, at the end of the day, it's my job to make a balance, you see. So I'm a balanced broadcaster. That's my thing. People, have no idea sometimes as what is required to be a broadcasting person of this magnitude. And it's balance. I say to people, balance. What is the qualification for that gig? Balance, I say. Balance. Impartiality is like my middle name. I don't show opinion. I don't get, strange when it comes to people having a different view to mine. It's all about balance. And so, therefore, if Sarah says something that is out of order, ridiculous, patronising or unintelligent, as she does pretty much most of the time, I think it's my point of view, my job, to just redress that with a bit of balance.
You're like a pair of scales, you lizard, you.
I am. Pair of old scales. Let's go to this line here. Hello?
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 I'm not on the air now, am I?
Yeah. Well, you're not now, no.
Right.
You are now.
I want to talk about the, I phoned last year about...
All right. You've been hanging on since then?
Yeah. Been on since then, and it's taken a while to get through, but I'm here now.
Excellent.
I phoned last year about the Ted Heath burners.
Of course you did.
You remember that call?
I do remember.
And
how are you getting on? Did you have a ritual burning again?
16 Ted Heaths are floating around the ozone layer all over the UK.
Fanta, was this a New Year's Eve burning?
No, this was November the 5th.
This was November.
We're giving Guy Fawkes now, so it's Ted Heath Day now.
You see, that's the thing to do. And whereabouts were you all based?
Oh, there's a few. Well, I'm in Northumberland, and there's a few around London, Wales, Scotland, everywhere.
It's growing.
It's growing.
A bit like Ted.
A bit like... No, he's going.
He's never started... You know, he's going to stand at the next election again.
Is he really?
Apparently so.
I'm going to stand against him then.
That old bloater won't give up.
He won't, will he?
He won't pack it in.
No. We'll get rid of him. That's the point.
For love nor money. So the effigies of Ted Heath continue to be burnt on November the 5th.
They will, and we'll have double that many next year.
Until the political bozo goes.
But in the meantime, with November the 5th out the way...
Yeah.
I've started on the Blair Watch project.
Yay, it had to be done.
950 days of the occupation. And I thought actually this would be an ideal feature for your show.
Yeah.
I've got 16 points here of things, of atrocities and misdemeanors that Tony Blair has carried out since coming into office.
Fabulous.
And I thought, well, I could either read some of them out now.
I'll tell you what, stay there a second. Let me just put you back to Pete. Pete, if you can grab line 3 there, because this could make some interesting bits and pieces, but I don't know if we can get it in today because of the time we got. Hello?
Hi.
Yeah.
How are these chickens that take Razorhead? Have you seen that film?
Yeah.
It's on now.
Excellent.
Brilliant, watch it.
Thank you. I'll try and watch it if I can. Hello? That was the wrong one. Let's go to the right one, hopefully. Hello?
Hello there?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, hello there. Talk Radio?
Yeah.
Yeah, good morning to you. My name's Keith Nichols. I wonder if I could speak to your presenters there on a particular subject.
Yeah, what was the subject, Mr. Nichols?
Basically, your young lady there, one of your presenters there, Sarah, talking about health issue as regards to GPs. I'd like to make a comment on that.
Just a sec. Do you want to talk to the bloke on 3 about health issues? They said they don't want to talk to you.
Okay, then. There's no go then today, then, yeah?
Well, I think you should. He's all right. He sounds okay. No? No, they don't want to talk to you.
Okay, then, mate.
Thank you.
Okay, then. Good day to you. Bye
Good
now.
day to you. Bye-bye. 08700 40 50 60. Let's go to this line here. Hello?
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 Ian?
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is, if you don't come and see me, I'm going to come and get you. I'm that penthouse Pete.
Okay.
Before Monday.
Before Monday?
Yeah. That'll be down.
We'll be there.
We'll be round. I'll be round with the men.
I understand. I know that I understand the threat. You think
score?
I do.
Well, no worries.
We'll be there.
Good.
See you later. Rather not go into that. Very difficult era of our life. You know, it's just one of those things. You make these videos, you pay the price. Hello?
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 Talk Radio?
Yes, speaking.
Can I have a word with Sarah, please?
What would you like to say to her?
I just want to pass a message to her about calling ladies birds.
Yeah, what do you think?
Well, I wanted to tell her, does she know the reason why we get called birds?
No.
Pardon?
No, I don't.
Is that Sarah?
Yes, hello.
Yes, the reason, Sarah, is because we're good at catching worms.
Let's go to this line here. Hello, Talk Radio.
Hello, Mr. Collins, sir.
Speaking.
Excellent. Very good, sir. I've just got a funny story, if I may, about Millennium, sir. And people bodging up jobs or whatever.
Yeah.
What had happened was, we'd all been out of the new year, as it were.
Yeah.
And we got up.
Was that you and your mates and stuff?
Yeah,
That's good, yeah.
Been out. It was excellent. We went to Birmingham. Very good Millennium in Birmingham.
Despite that, it was all right, was it?
Yep. But what happened was, we all came out of the nightclub at about 8 o'clock in the morning. And there was only one tram to Wolverhampton, which is where I live. And we got there, in perfect time, and we were told, sorry, it won't be there for about an hour. So we were all waiting there in the freezing cold for an hour. Tram comes, but we can't get in the station because it's locked. So we had to get all the way over, climb over all the fences, and then got the tram back to Wolverhampton.
So what... So you did get on a tram?
We did get on the tram eventually.
But only by illegally climbing into the station?
That is right, sir. That is right.
You should be arrested.
I know we should, sir, but at the end of the day, it was New Year's Eve, and everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy. It's a good job you didn't cut yourself on those razor-sharp fences.
Indeedy, sir.
I've seen it happen.
I know it's pretty nasty, sir. And there's nothing wrong with calling ladies chicks, because it's a compliment.
It's a compliment. You are right.
Thank you very much, sir.
See you later.
Okay, see you later, sir.
Bye-bye. There he is. It's a man who caught a tram over a fence. But I think it's important people know that.
Yes, I'm busy trying to hatch some eggs.
Oh.
It's my friend.
Unbelievable. 3 cocks on one line. Hello.
Sarah.
Sarah.
Yes.
Eat me. I knew he was going to say that.
No, thank you. I'm full.
Oh. Full of eggs. 700 40 50 60.
I'm about to hatch them with electrical impulses.
Come on, girls. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you watching Razorhead yet, Ian?
I'm watching it now.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
Isn't it?
The existentialism of it.
Oh, that's what makes it.
The soundtrack. Have you heard the tunes?
Yeah, we've got it here somewhere.
Do you know who does the music on that film?
Who is it?
No idea, I'm asking you.
No, I don't know. I'll find out for you, though.
The last time we spoke, I'm sorry about this, I'm not in the same mood as I was last time we spoke. Tranmere v West Ham, remember that?
Yeah, big time.
Good.
What an outrage.
Did you see the action like with Beckham getting sent off, etc.?
No, I missed it. Wish I did, though.
Absolutely amazing.
What a damn shame.
It was so predictable, the thing...
Did you think the ref was going to take it that way?
Yeah, well, his foot was high.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean...
In the end, of course, they got away with the draw after all.
That was, yeah, just. I mean, United, hello, how many times can they score a goal in the last second of their careers?
Every single, match, apparently.
Blimey. But apparently it was, I mean, Lou Macari was saying on Talk that, I mean, he didn't argue with the ref's decision on the basis that, he knows what it's like to be stood there. He goes one way, and, folks say that should never have happened. Others will say it should have happened. The ref is there for that reason. We can't argue. And, of course, at the end of the day, we don't like David Beckham anyway.
He must know about his reputation, though, surely.
Well, you'd have thought so, wouldn't you? I mean, who can not know about his reputation?
What he did... I'm sorry, I've just seen the vision of the embryo on the...
Oh, no. The vision. Anyway, listen, we've got to go.
All right.
You take it easy.
Sarah.
Bye. 08700 40 50 60. So much happening, Sarah.
So much happening.
How many more eggs?
4 hatched since I last looked.
Really? Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
All right, who's that?
It's Martin Douglas.
Yes, Martin.
Hi, I would just like to speak about, I know he was going a bit last night, but that Shag Nasty off the Adult Channel.
That's right, yeah.
Well, I don't have some inside information, but I've got a little bit of inside information about the whole thing, like.
Oh, yeah, go on.
No, it was actually, he doesn't actually have sex.
It's all simulated?
Well, no, he's actually got a dildo strapped to himself.
Has he?
Yeah, I actually watched it. I think it was honest, I swear it was 3 nights ago, right?
What kind of weirdo is he?
Who knows? It's crazy. It is crazy. But
is
honestly,
this because
I swear. I was watching it, and, I take great delight in watching it, to tell you the truth. And I just said, wait a minute, what's that? There's a big bit of rubber coming out of his pants.
Was it because it couldn't be seen properly?
Well, maybe.
Was it not meant to be seen, is what I'm saying?
Well, I don't think it was meant to be seen, but I certainly seen it.
And did you get the impression as well that the people they use in it are people from the street, like viewers?
Well, I don't know.
Or do they look like actors or actresses to you?
Well, I hardly think a scruffy old 40-year-old man's going to, pick up some chicks, certainly, but...
I don't mean just off the street, I mean advertised, to come on, like listen, viewers.
For sure. But what I was led to believe was, it was all, sex and partying and whatnot, but I seen his dildo, which was pretty off-putting.
Well, I should say it was. I'm glad you had that experience and not me.
Yeah, you're right. But I felt really ripped off as a...
Totally ripped off. The secret's out. Shag Nasty is nothing but a bit of old plastic length.
Exactly. And I mean, wait a minute, you know, what's that dangling from his balls? And, you know, it was his penis, I'm afraid.
There you go, you see.
I felt bummed.
How does he stay in that position?
How does he stay hardware?
Exactly, yeah. Listen, thank you very much for that.
Not a problem.
I appreciate that. See ya.
See you later.
08700 40 50 60. Now we know, Sarah. You see, it's all simulated with bits of rubber.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Fax or email that we didn't get round to reading out. There were loads, and so many it was just too much.
Hundreds of them.
Hundreds of the things. Film detail with Ambrose is next, though.
To me, it means the opportunity to learn about someone else's life.
I think without our help, she could so easily die.
She's recently received a new supply of books.
And when I think of the opportunities that our children have in this country, I think it's really good to be able to give that to other children in other countries too.
It's just really satisfying.
It's really rewarding.
Sponsorship saves lives.
For £15 a month, I can help change the life of a child in the third world. Or I can go and watch United lose a game.
I spend £4 a week trying to lose weight at a slimming class.
Child sponsorship means so many things to different sponsors. But to a child in the developing world, it means one thing above all: a future full of hope and opportunity. For just £15 a month, you can become a child sponsor. Call World Vision now on 0800 50 10 10 for a child sponsorship information pack. That's 0800 50 10 10.
I think it's probably the most personally rewarding way of helping people overseas.
Your station for sport, news and views. Talk Radio.
Blimey. We've been talking about it all night, and now it's the first one of, like, the year 2000. It's just amazing to say that stuff, isn't it? Year 2000.
It's quite a special moment.
The year 2000. Ambrose.
Hello.
So, there's plenty going on.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, the bit that everybody waits for is the cult classic.
I wait for it.
We wait for it all the time, and we'll come to that in a second. And that's the sort of cult classic recommendation.
Yeah.
A film that in Ambrose's expert eyes has achieved cult status.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you're coming from, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. We've got the news, the new releases, videos to rent, recommendations. It's coming out of our cinematographic lug holes here.
It is.
We'll start off with the news.
Okay, well, the first bit of news is that Oliver Stone, who's just completed a film, Any Given Sunday, about American football, he's been granted permission for his next film, which is going to be called Beyond Borders, by the British Ministry of Defence, to shoot in the unused and defunct RAF hangars and strips around this country. And this Beyond Borders is going to be a military drama, set to shoot next spring, and it's going to star, we think, Catherine Zeta-Jones as a UN aid worker and Kevin Costner as a US soldier who goes around Europe's war zones. Now, you might remember the MOD made a bit of a blunder with Saving Private Ryan because they didn't allow any kind of filming in Britain. Had to go to Ireland. So they let...
Why didn't they allow filming in Britain for Saving Private Ryan?
They didn't want to allow members of the army to be used for some reason.
Do they?
No. Being a bit stuffy. So they relented on this one, but it seems they might have inadvertently shot themselves in the foot because Oliver Stone, apparently the project...
Kevin Costner's in it.
Yeah, that's one reason. But also the project is supposed to be, or is touted to be, a stern critique of NATO's recent missile-driven peacekeeping policies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could be a controversial film.
It could be a controversial film.
Yeah.
What was the last thing that Kevin Costner did that worked?
Dances with the Wolves, maybe.
Yeah. So it's not happening, is it, for Kev, really?
It's not.
We will wait and see. And controversy all around.